Welcome into another live stream here on Fantasy Filmball. My name's Dyl, and first off, I want to apologize for the lighting a little bit. It's 1. It's not 4 p.m. We have a different time, so everything's a little bit different. But today, I hope to not go nearly as long as we went last week. But I do want to give a massive shout out to everyone who joined the stream last Sunday. We went like nearly 3 hours, which is just absolutely insane. So the fact that all of you sat there, listened to me yap and interact in the chat with me for that long means so much to me. I just really appreciate each and every one of you, whether you were there live, you went back to watch it later, or more importantly, you are here with me today because I'm super excited for everything that we have on the docket for today. But last time I had a lot I wanted to cover. We went studio by studio, breaking down their slates and talking about which films I believed in a little bit more than some of the other ones. And today I want to take a more, laid back, relaxed approach to everything that we have. Where you all can really help guide me through our conversation. We can, just kind of hang out and do a general Q&A. We can talk about awards at large, movies, or whatever else really comes up. I'm pretty open for how today can really go. But on the flip side, we can do some cool things as well. We can look into awards expert at large and see where the consensus stands here at the very end of March in some of these above the line categories. We can even hop on a call with our resident Kalshi expert himself to dive inside some of these early betting odds because the Oscars just ended, but next year's odds are already on the table. So that's an option as well. But I just want to say again, just how much I appreciate each and every one of you out there for being live with me here today or watching the last episode or this episode after the fact. I just love to talk about awards. This isn't my job. I'm not getting paid to be here. I'm just, doing it for the love of the game and for just the interactions and connections with all of you out there. So this intro yap is keep going on, but if you do like what you see today, whether you're here live or you're watching, back as I keep saying, a subscription helps our channel continue to grow. You can join our Discord. The link is down in the description where we have currently over 400 members talking about awards each and every day. Cannes is less than 2 months away, and Matt sadly cannot be here with me again today, but he is going to be on the grounds over at the Cannes Film Festival over in France, bringing you live updates throughout the festival, throughout both weeks of the festival, I should say. He's going to be there for the whole time. He's had some great coverage in the past, giving you some early contenders to look out for in the previous years. But I would say more importantly, we're recording our first Best Picture predictions next weekend. So you can expect that video in the next couple of weeks. I hope to have it out in the early parts of April. I know it keeps getting delayed, but this year it's going to be pretty special because we're doing things a little bit differently. I don't want to spoil exactly what we have planned quite yet, but I mean, last year we did the studio breakdown where we looked at each studio's slate, looked at the type of genre and the different type of films that were out there, and whether films, like the indies or the internationals or the blockbusters, which ones could occupy those slots. But this year, we're kind of bringing that back, but we're doing it with a fun little twist. So it's something that, if it is interesting to you, like I said, drop a subscription. It keeps you up to date when we finally drop that video. But as I wrap up this behemoth of an intro, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you want to talk about today. I said, I hope we don't go 3 hours again, but honestly, I don't have much on my plate today. We have some dinner reservations later. We have going to see Project Hail Mary again before it leaves the premium large formats at 8 p.m. It's 1. So we have a lot of time. And with all that being said, intro out of the way. I guess the last thing I say before I dive and look at all of these chats and these comments is just how can we improve these streams in the channel overall? Because I will be the first to admit we did slip up a little bit towards the end of the last award season between Matt's school schedule and my new job. This wasn't always my personal top priority. I can't speak for Matt himself, but I'm hoping to manage my time a little bit better for this award season and bring you more content overall. And that could mean more live streams like this or even solo videos where we both can't be on. So we don't go weeks without uploading just because Matt and I couldn't line up our schedules because I enjoy just talking awards, even if it isn't with Matt, if it's with all of you out there. So if there's anything I can do to make these streams, look better, sound nicer, or feel more interactive, just let me know. And the same goes for our videos as well, whether it's my solo box office coverage or the movie reviews I've been pumping out or anything else for our award season at large here on side the channel. I did a retrospective on the stunt category last year. It's a video that took a long time to make, but we looked back at the past 10 years of what could have been if this category had existed. So if you want to see something similar to that for casting, because now we do have some data to go off of, like I said, it took a lot of time. It took a lot of effort. It's a video that can't be monetized because I use clips because we love clips, but it is something that you are all interested in watching. Let me know, and I can, get to work on doing another one of those. But at the end of the day, I do love the community that we built here on Fantasy Filmball so far. I want to keep growing it because that means more people to talk awards season with. But let's quit this long intro yap that I've been doing here. Let's check some of these comments down below. Let's just see how everyone is doing. So let's see. Let's scroll up to the top here. We have seen Project Hail Mary. It's easily your favorite movie of the decade so far from Elizabeth. And I think Project Hail Mary is a pretty great movie. I know there's been some discourse on it online since it came out to wide release this past weekend. People say it's overrated. There's not that much depth to the movie, but I am a big fan of Project Hail Mary overall. I think it showcases everything of what makes Ryan Gosling a great leading man. You just see some of his dramatic chops. You just see his comedy. And I mean, he basically is on screen solo for the entire 2.5 hour movie. Yes, Rocky is there too, but Rocky isn't a physical person on set. It's just Gosling. And I think it just speaks to his talents as an actor to be able to command the screen and showcase a performance like that. That's so funny. That is so captivating, all by himself. So yeah, I do agree. Project Hail Mary is a great movie. Shout out to Gunther coming in from Austria. I don't know what time it is over there. I'm assuming it's a little bit later in the day, but thank you so much for joining me here. Just, chat some award season. We have coming from Portugal, Bernardo. Shout out to you as well. I've always wanted to go to Portugal. I haven't been there yet. My thoughts on Gerwig's Narnia. This is a film that I am a little bit higher on than I think the consensus. We'll look at Awards Expert here a little bit later down the line, but Awards Expert currently doesn't have in the Best Picture lineup. And just scrolling the app here, currently Awards Expert just has it getting in for visual effects, costumes, and production design. I mean, it's what we could maybe assume to be Netflix's top dog for this award season race. We've seen what previous Narnia movies look like. We've seen what Greta Gerwig movies look like. So to me, I think it's one that's being undervalued a little bit. And I think it's one that maybe more people should take a chance on putting into their Best Picture lineup, getting it 3, 4, 5 tech nominations, maybe even some acting play, maybe even screenplay if you want to go that crazy. Gerwig has shown she is a director that the Academy does respond to. She's done it with 3 very different types of movies. So who says that we can't get a 4th very different type of movie with Narnia? Coming over here to Nathan saying, let's talk about sports. I'm down to talk about sports because I stayed up until 1 a.m. my time to watch the Japanese Grand Prix for F1 last night. And it was an interesting race. We got to see Oscar Piastri jump out from, I think he started like 3rd or 4th on the first lap and had a great lap, took the lead, commanding the race. And then, of course, the VSC came out, Behrman crashed, and Piastri's race kind of came to a close because he just doesn't have the juice to keep up with the Mercedes. I really do like Kimi, so I'm not mad seeing a Kimi win. I just don't want to see 22 races of Mercedes coming out in P1. I don't know if you watch F1, but that was my thoughts on the race. And I guess sports at large, we're in baseball season. We were going to go to a Phillies game yesterday, but up here, it was like 40 degrees, feels like 35. Didn't feel like sitting out watching a baseball game at night. But apparently it was a good game. They went to extras. But I think I am going Tuesday. So, Nathan, let me know. What's your sports team? What's your sport that you like? I'm down to talk sports. But everyone, this is a channel that we don't talk about sports because we do love Fantasy Filmball. And our tagline, as Matt says in each and every video, sports is sometimes stuff that we don't talk about, but something I do enjoy talking about. Coming back over to Elizabeth, rank the last 5 Best Picture winners from best to worst. So off the top of my head, Oppenheimer, number 1. I mean, it's Christopher Nolan. I'm a Nolan head. I have my Odyssey ticket, bought it a year in advance. I just think it's a great example of taking all of Nolan's best qualities and putting them to a movie that we really haven't seen him do before. I mean, Cillian Murphy's really fantastic in the lead role. That ensemble is amazing from top to bottom. If casting had been around for that award season, Oppenheimer probably would have swept the casting category. It's one of my favorite Best Picture nominee or favorite Best Picture winners I've seen overall, but for the last 5 years, it's easily my number one. I would probably put One Battle After Another at number two. It's a film I've had a very interesting relationship with. My first viewing at the press screening, I enjoyed it a lot, but hearing people say it's the best film of all time, it's the best film of the decade, this is the definitive movie of 2025, I was like, I get it, but I don't connect with it that much. But upon rewatch, after rewatch, I think I've seen it 4 times now, I've grown to really appreciate it, and it would be my second favorite the last 5 years. I would put Everything Everywhere at number 3. It's a movie I really, really, really respect. I really, really like. I just don't think about it all that often. And Anora would be my number 4. Mikey Madison's really good in it. I think the humor works a lot. I am not a fan of Anora's ending. So that brings it down to my number 4 because, I mean, Oppenheimer's a 10, One Battle's a 9, Everything Everywhere's a 9. Anora's like a 7, 8 for me. And that means Coda's number 5. Coda's a fine movie, but as a Best Picture winner, it doesn't work as much for me, you know? So let's look what else we have down here. Who won your guys' Filmball round? Good question, Nathan. We're actually recording that tomorrow night. I'm seeing the drama at 7 p.m. and we're hopping on at 9:30. So a pretty quick turnaround. What I will say, if you want to be spoiled a little bit, go to our last video. See who has a certain movie that won Best Picture, and they may have won because One Battle After Another was the highest scoring film, I think, in the game's history. But we're recording a video tomorrow. I hope to have that out by the end of next week. Like I said, I see the drama, so that will get priority. Tuesday upload for the drama, and maybe Wednesday or Thursday for our Filmball recap. Just like we're recording videos, Matt is super busy. It's something I want to include Matt with as well. And even on top of Matt and I's schedules need to overlap, we have 4 other people. Arno, who lives up in Canada. We have Jack and Ryan, who live in California, and John living in Arizona. So we have a lot of different time zones people to coordinate for an episode like that. But it is coming. We're recording tomorrow. So let's see. What's the next one that we have down here? My screen just like refreshed and I lost my spot. Boom. Okay. Let's maybe discuss Underdog Best Picture picks. In terms of wins, I have no clue what to do for a Best Picture winner at this moment. But in terms of potential nominations, we'll get around to that here shortly when we dive into Awards Expert, because I think it will be nice to look at what Awards Expert currently has in their top 10 and then kind of going down the line to seeing some of those value plays. But yes, shout out Brad saying, hey, Vitor. Vitor's the GOAT down in our server. So again, a little self-promo plug. If you want to talk awards, we're all down there in the Discord community. You can join it in the description down below. Willow saying, I feel you. I had to manage YouTube and the Discord when you have an adult job that takes a good portion of the time. Yeah, sometimes it is a little much because obviously you want to save time for yourself to either see movies or do fun things, go on little trips, hang out with the people in your life. So, like I said, I wish we could have had a little bit more out during last award season, but I'm excited to keep the community that we do have heading into next award season. Going back over to Vitor, Gerwig can't hit forever. Nobody has that high of a hit rate. And I think Netflix is picking something up. I totally understand if you are a believer of Netflix is going to pick up something out of Cannes, like they did for Emilia Perez or May December. I just think looking at Netflix's current slate of what we know they have, I feel like Narnia is the best case scenario for them, because coming over to Nathan's comment here is exactly what I agree with. It's their version of Frankenstein 2.0. People were so resistant on Frankenstein last year. I know Matt and myself had it in our Best Picture lineup. I had it as top 3. I had Guillermo in. I maybe was a little overboard on Frankenstein about the hype that it would have, but I mean, it came close. It was probably number 6 for both picture and director, or not picture, but director and I guess the Best Picture preferential ballot. So like it was close to being top 5, and that's part of the reason why I think Narnia can do it, maybe a lighter version. It doesn't need to be close to 10 noms, but it can be a nice 7 or 6 nomination movie for Netflix this year. But I'm totally open for them to buy something, or a movie that we don't really know much about kind of comes out of the woodwork for them. The issue is if it's something on Netflix's slate, we can't see it at Cannes. So they can't give us an alternative option until Venice unless they buy something out of Cannes. But again, I don't think we can play the buying guessing game that has burned people year after year. Think about Luca Guadagnino's Queer. People saying, Amazon's going to buy it up. Oh, A24 is going to buy it up. Focus could buy it up. They don't have contenders. And there was a reason why that film didn't have distribution. I don't think we can play the reverse game. I think at this point in the season, we kind of have to go off of what the studios do have. And maybe you can throw in like 1 or 2 films without distro, but then you kind of have to play those mental games in your head. Who's picking it up and where is it going? So I saw Barbie. I liked it. Should I watch for the first time Little Women or Lady Bird? I would say Little Women over Lady Bird, but I think both of those movies are really good. I think Little Women is I don't even know the right thing I'm trying to say here. I think they're both really good movies. They're both, I would say, different vibe movies. I like Little Women more because of the sprawling nature of it and kind of mixing timelines and whatnot. But Lady Bird has young Timmy. It has Saoirse Ronan giving one of her best performances. It's really funny. Both those movies are very funny and heartwarming, and sometimes could bring a tear to your eye. I would say, though, in my personal Gerwig ranking, I would go Barbie, Little Women, Lady Bird. But I know people would go the opposite order with that as well. Shout out to Brad as well. You can't doubt Gerwig because she hasn't missed it. I think that's the same reason why some people were predicting Guillermo last year. I think it's a difference of directors who typically get in or don't get in, but then their next film doesn't have distro. I think the fact that Netflix went out of their way to secure Frankenstein, they went out of their way to secure Narnia, says they see something there. Maybe it's just for views, but also, I mean, Netflix clearly has shown they like to play the Oscars game. They like to try to rack up those nominations. And I would say looking at their slate now, as we talked about last week, Narnia to me speaks the best for Netflix. Yes, Jimmy, sports is something that we don't talk about here. I love sports. I love to talk about sports. And that's part of the reason for the creation of this channel, of this game. Back in college, I worked for a radio station. It was kind of a hybrid movie, sports, and music type show. Matt obviously loves movies. So it's kind of taking some of the aspects I had from that, mixing it with Matt's game that he had already created. And then I had to add some extra fantasy sports aspects to it because my first job out of college was working for SiriusXM's Fantasy Sports Station for like football and baseball and racing and stuff. And yeah, we don't always talk about sports here, but if we can fit it in here and there, you know, I love me some sports. 7 p.m. in Austria. I saw Project Hail Mary yesterday in IMAX. Had such a good time. I think we'll get the Best Picture nomination plus 5 to 7 nominations. Gosling is among them, you hope. I would agree. I think that is a great read of Project Hail Mary. I think Awards Expert has it currently at number 5. I would say maybe 6, 7, 8 in the Best Picture race. Just if we go off of like the Frankenstein or Dune Part 2 trajectory for it. I think, like you said, 5, 7 extra nominations. We could easily see sound. We could see visual effects, adapted screenplay, production design, editing, Gosling, cinematography. And then you kind of pick and choose what you want to keep and how strong you do think it is. Gosling is someone we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get into lead actor. Lead actor looks stacked this year, just like last year. Obviously, we haven't seen these movies this year. We did see the movies last year, but I could see a scenario like last year with Jesse Plemons, where everyone's like, he's delivering his career best performance. He's in the Best Picture nominee. How is he not getting nominated? And I think that could happen with someone this year, whether that is Gosling, whether it is Matt Damon, maybe even like Sam Rockwell or Sebastian Stan or something. I think this year we could have a lot of people duking it out for the 5 slots in Best Lead Actor. Yeah, listen to Vitor here. If you want something closer to Barbie, Little Women, something different, Lady Bird. I think that's kind of a good read for it, especially in terms of like the themes of the movie. Are you leaning more towards For Sure or All of a Sudden for Neon's top priority? For me, I don't really know how to read Neon at this moment, and I can admit we're going to look at some of my stats and track record here because one of the comments when I posted the poll, what we should do today was saying look at pundits at large predictions. I don't like to consider myself a pundit. I'm just one of you all out there, just dumb enough to get the time to make a YouTube channel. But last night I made some graphics, kind of looking back since we started Fantasy Filmball and kind of going back a little bit more and more of how has my hit rate been? Where are my positives? Where are my negatives? And something I think I can acknowledge is I've never been good at the international movies this far in advance, especially when we were dealing with Neon. Last year, I was a denier of sentimental value. I said people were going to say it's not as good as Worst Person in the World, and it may be really good, but it's not going to get the reception it needs to overcome. And I think what we saw at Cannes is exactly kind of what I said, where people are like, I love Worst Person even more, but this is good. But clearly, I think the love for Worst Person carried over to sentimental value, and that helped propel the film throughout award season. So for me, I currently would have For Sure as my number 10 in Best Picture, just because I think it has the acting prospects with Renata and Sebastian Stan, and maybe a screenplay slot because original looks a little lighter at this moment. And for me, Hamaguchi is someone who I don't feel like needs to be an Oscar mainstay consistent with each and every one of his new films. But if all of a sudden hits Cannes in France, people are raving it, saying it's even better than Drive My Car, it's the film of the festival, then obviously, yeah, I would switch over that. Kind of something Vitor was saying before. I could kind of see Neon. I mean, we all know they're going to buy, but I could kind of see Neon buy their real contender out of Cannes. I think one of these two movies may live, but I could see them also buying something else and making that their main priority, their main number one. You watched Sidewalls yesterday and you loved it. I personally haven't seen Sidewalls. I'll need to do a little research to see what it's all about, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Going back over to Vitor, watch out. Yeah, basically what I just said. It could win one or two acting awards. I feel like if that is a route you want to go down with it, if you think it could even win those or just nominations, that's kind of where I lean towards that being Neon's push, because I feel the nominations there. You know, with AI, are movies doomed? No, I wouldn't say. I think that if anything, it's just further pushing along people's attention spans in the more directions of like TikTok and watching short form content, because that's what we see AI more so used for, is making short form content on YouTube or on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. But I don't think it's going to kill the movie industry. It just might speed up the process, kind of like how COVID sped up the I rather stream it than go out to the cinemas and watch it. You know, thoughts on Behemoth coming from Elizabeth. For me, it sounds super interesting. I think if it hits, it could hit really hard. I really like the cast. I'm a huge Will Arnett fan. If you're a subscriber here to Fantasy Filmball, you know how much I try to push that last award season and make Arnett a lead actor contender. Obviously, we have no sway here. We're a channel of like 2.7 thousand subscribers, but in terms of like wanting to predict it and wanting it to be right, I wanted, is this thing going to be a thing last year? And clearly it didn't catch on wide enough. That's a movie I would say, if you haven't seen it, I really liked it. But Behemoth this year, if it hits, it's a movie about scores and orchestral. So like original score, sound, could be players. Maybe Arnett could have his time to shine this time around. Pedro Pascal, people have been wanting him to have an Academy-friendly type role. But for me, Searchlight has Wild Horse 9. They put out a trailer for it already. They seem confident about it. I have no reason not to be confident about it. And Searchlight can pull off 2 Best Picture nominees, but typically when they get to win, they're both like top 5. I don't know if Behemoth is also going to be top 5. I love this next comment. What would you say is your best and worst calls of last year? So with that being said, let's just dive into one of these graphics here. I'll keep going down the comment line here in a second, but let's go down the line. This is where I was looking at last March. Here, I guess let me get rid of your comment real quick. And let's, I guess my screen's mirrored. Let's look at this hit rate right here. A year ago, first Best Picture predictions, I got 4 out of 10. I had Begonia, I had F1, I had Frankenstein, and I had One Battle After Another. Great call, F1. I don't know anyone else who had F1 in Best Picture at this time last year. I don't know anyone who had F1 in Best Picture until like January after it got PGA. I know I had dropped it off after the Metacritic came out and people were kind of shitting on the movie, and the early award season started and it wasn't doing what I wanted it to see. Like, I don't remember getting both MBR and AFI. I think it just got one of them. I wanted to see it get both, but F1, I would say, is, in terms of like this point of the season, a great called shot from last year for me. A bad shot is saying Hamnet was not going to happen. I think that looking back, Hamnet is something that I think us as a community at large can kind of correctify ourselves with this year, is seeing when a studio has a film that makes sense, that is a little bit of Oscar bait, they put it in their prime release date slot. They're a studio that never misses Best Picture, and it has actors who could really chew up their performances and could give us something that we want to see to nominate, like Jesse Buckley, like Paul Mescal. Even if he missed the nomination, we should take it serious. Even if we don't have it as like a Best Picture winner, we can still have it like the top 5 or maybe the top 10. And Hamnet is something last year that I think we at large, but me especially, can hold as a big L, because I think it was pretty clear Hamnet at least was going to be a push. You could say, oh, well, what if it would have flopped? But like, not having Hamnet in your top 10 in March of last year, I think is something that we all can kind of look back on and be like, it's a little bit dumb. And this year, Focus Features has a movie that they just delayed to be in their prime release date slot, adapting a very iconic and baity premise, starring actors that we know can chew the scenery. So will people at large make the same mistake they did with Hamnet with Sense and Sensibility this year? I guess we'll have to kind of see going forward. But yeah, that I would say that was my best and worst call at least March last season. But when we get a little bit further down the line, I would say the moment I saw one battle after another, I said, hey, Sean Penn, he's going to sweep. Did he sweep? No, but he still won the Oscar. I said that I'm trying to think of a bad one I could say, more so towards like the end of the season, not just super, super far out. I guess in retrospect, saying that Secret Agent could maybe upset Sentimental Value was a bad call. Obviously, Sentimental Value still got the win. I think my logic worked. My logic was a lot different than other people on the space or on Awards Expert predicting the category. Most people were saying Secret Agent was the stealth contender. It was always looming. It was getting more and more visibility and being seen later on down the line. For me, it was just the fact that Sentimental Value kept underperforming everywhere it can. It was the odds-on favorite on betting apps, on Awards Expert, on the ground to win the Palm. It didn't win the Palm. It didn't even win the second. It didn't even win the most amount of awards. It just got runner-up. I get runner-up is still a major prize, but we've seen the runner-up prize at Cannes not result in Oscar prospects. Critics' Choice, it was expected to win Supporting Actor, expected to win Screenplay. It lost both. Golden Globes, it was expected to win International Feature, lost. BAFTA, expected to win Screenplay, Supporting Actor, lost. SAG couldn't give it a single nomination. So I think my thinking, my logic there was with Sentimental Value, but obviously it had its best nomination performance at the Oscars. For me, that should have been a sense saying, hey, even though it's been underperforming everywhere else, it can at least win its one category at the Oscars, But yeah, I guess while we had this graphic up, I figured someone said last stream that y'all like the graphics, so let's bring them back. But yeah, last year, March predictions. I went 4 out of 10 in Best Picture. Begonia was my Best Picture winner at this time last year. Did it win Best Picture? No. But Begonia is a film I never took out of my Best Picture predictions. It was always in there. Emma Stone was always in there. Just her category switched at a time. It was always in my screenplay lineup, and Jesse Plemons is someone who, after I saw the movie, I did take him out of my 5. I never put him back in, but I really wish Jesse Plemons could have got in last year. But as we've said numerous times, lead actor was stacked. F1 was a very, I would say, unique shot. As you see from this list, I typically have like one blockbuster that most people aren't predicting. This year, I have the movie I want it to be, but it's currently in the top 10 on Awards Expert, so I guess I can't say I have a unique blockbuster this year. But Frankenstein was my number 3 in Best Picture. One Battle was in my top 10 at this point last year. 2025, I had a pretty bad year in March. I only had 2 out of 10 in Best Picture. I had Dune Part 2, and I had Wicked. Again, just like F1, I was probably the only person on YouTube, only person in our punditry space that had Wicked in their Best Picture lineup in March. Again, did I stick to it? Not exactly. I did take it out after an additional trailer, but I did have it in my very first predictions. But this is a year where easily I should have had at least 4. Nickel Boys is something that I just felt like Amazon was going in another direction, to the point that someone was coming to me before about predicting where a film that has no distribution going to, I always think like, oh, Amazon's going to buy their contender. Nickel Boys just isn't going to be it. Nickel Boys was just their contender. And then Conclave, Focus, again, just like Hamnet. I was predicting that it would be Nosferatu that year. Conclave just made sense. 2024, though, 5 out of 10 of the best picture in the lineup. Honestly, I don't know how much better people could have done at this point at that season. Anatomy was on no one's radar. Zone of Interest was not something that people were projecting. I'm blanking on with the other three. Oh, American Fiction. No one even knew what the movie was at the time. Barbie would fit in that Wicked and F1 slot of projecting blockbusters, but no one was predicting Barbie. And I'm blanking on the 10th nominee that year. But yeah, 5 out of 10, not mad at it for a March prediction. And then 2023, Avatar, Elvis, Fabelmans, Women Talking, 4 out of 10. That's not that bad, especially for Elvis. I remember when we first created Fantasy Filmball in our videos as well as in our Discord server, I got so much flack for having Elvis in my early Best Picture predictions. And look, that one panned off. So I would say a positive my predictions here, at least in terms of March, is I'm good at calling what blockbuster could be real. I'm just not always great on sticking with that blockbuster throughout the season. And I would say, I guess, for 2025, a complete unknown. I was early on that. As soon as they said, like, it's 2025, I threw it in, or 2024, I threw it in my predictions. It's just we didn't know about it in March. I'll come back to that final winner accuracy here in a little bit, but I do want to get back over to some of these comments here. Banjo coming in saying, what I miss? I don't know how old this comment is, but you missed maybe 15 minutes of just, yapping, rambling. Yeah, we had a little Narnia discussion where I was kind of giving pros for it. Kind of like what you and I talked about the other day, Banjo, just say like, it's Netflix, tech prospects. What else do they have at this moment? Gerwig has shown that they are receptive to her before. Chances for Daniel Pemberton to win score next year over Ludwig. I do not think Ludwig will win score next year. I understand he is 3 wins in like 10 years of being in the game, but I don't think they'll go back-to-back years for him unless it's like outstanding, unique, one-of-a-kind work. I have no hesitation to think Ludwig's going to deliver an amazing score for the Odyssey. I just struggle to see him going back-to-back an original score. But he's Ludwig. Sinners is one of the best scores I've ever heard. His Black Panther score is so revolutionary. His Oppenheimer score is amazing. I love his Tenet score, his Creed score, the Mandalorian score. He's going to have the Mandalorian Grogu this year, too. Like, this man just knows how to cook original scores, so I think he'll get the nomination. I just don't think he'll win. In terms of Daniel Pemberton, this is a guy who I've gotten some bonus points throughout the years of just saying, no, he's not getting nominated, despite the fact that you all think he is. Time and time again, the Academy shows they don't care about the guy. The guilds have shown that they don't care about the guy. I think this would be the year where he could get his first nomination, but I don't think he will get the win. Brad's saying the score is too weak, but solid, but I don't think it's winning. I kind of feel the same. I think Project Hail Mary's score is really good. I just don't think it has the juice for a win, When we're in Project Hail Mary, I think there's an easy 9 noms with 2 more available for performance, Hooler and director. And someone could drop score. Yeah, for me with Project Hail Mary, it's just kind of like, how high do we want to go with it? Do we want to go into the point where we're getting to double-digit nominations? If we're getting to that point, yeah, Lord and Miller are going to either be Denis for Dune or they're going to be Nolan for Dunkirk, where they just get in everywhere, or they get in everywhere and they miss the Oscars if we're getting up to 9+ nominations. For me, I'm keeping it more in that like 5 to 7 range in Best Picture, where it doesn't need director, it doesn't need the extra acting nomination, it doesn't exactly need all of its text. I feel like I've said this on loop, but just to give it again here, I think sound and visual effects are locked noms. Picture, adapted screenplay, and this would be the order and confidence I have for these nominations in March, a year in advance. Adapted screenplay was my 4. Editing at 5. I'd flop those 2. I would go editing, then adapted screenplay. And then in terms of my personal projections for at this moment, I think I would then stop at production design. But production design is a stat category this year, and I don't know if I can fit it in. But coming over to Banjo here, how many early season Q1, Q2 contenders do you think can coexist? Project Hail Mary, Michael, Disclosure Day. Odyssey, Devil Wears Prada 2 all hit. Well, if they all hit, some of them will just not stick around. And I mean, you have 2 from Universal right there. I know you are the Disclosure Day head. I would say if Odyssey hits, they have no reason to push Disclosure Day. And then from our last episode, we had a breakdown of the studios, and typically year after year of all of the random studios. So that's Apple, Sony, Mubi, Paramount. I would also include Lionsgate. Michael's there, but also Mubi seems to kind of be in the race this year of 1949 or Fatherland. So Michael is something that I'm still riding with, but I'm getting more and more cautious as we approach the release date. I think Project Hail Mary and Odyssey are just good, and maybe a third one could coexist. For me, that would be Michael. I don't think Devil Wears Prada 2 will be a thing for a picture, and Disclosure Day. The same way as well. I think our top commenter here on these live streams so far, Moonfall, has joined in. What's up, Moonfall? Coming down here, we have Vitor saying Devil Wears Prada 2 and Disclosure Day are fake. Odyssey is basically a summer hit, and Michael is either top 5 or 0 noms. I'm not there on Michael's 0 noms. I think even if this movie flops, we have seen time and time again the makeup branch does not care about your movie's quality. They like work. And the fact that they've made Jafar Jackson look identical to Michael Jackson just from the trailers alone, I think will be good enough to keep it in the makeup conversation. I think costumes is something that even if the movie is not a picture player, it can live in that category as well. And then you kind of start looking like, well, what about sound? What about production design? Editing? Then we go above the line with like Domingo, Jafar Jackson, picture. Michael's something I still am holding around, but I do see the outcome where if it's not a picture thing, it can lose a lot of noms, but I don't think we'll get all the way down to 0 noms unless it's just not a hit in the way of like a Gladiator 2, where like it had the case to get some tech noms, but people just didn't care about the movie. I think Michael will at least have people caring about the movie, even if it's just, general audiences. Brad saying best take ever from Vitor. I don't agree with that. Brad, do you think Devil Wears Prada 2 is breaking $1 billion? I do not think it's breaking $1 billion. We have a box office game here in case you are a viewer who just is here for rewards. We also talk box office down in our Discord, and I'll have the summer box office prediction video. Been a little bit of a slump with summer box office predictions as of late, so I need to get better on that, but I don't think Devil Wears Prada 2 will get up to $1 billion. But yeah, Moonfall, Discord users are showing out today. Shout out to all of y'all. Just like I said in the intro, it's a fun place to hang out, just talk awards. I guess if you're here, you're probably an Oscar nerd like all of us. So it's kind of like the Oscar race Reddit, but more condensed and more, I would say, you recognize each other as you're talking each and every day instead of just like, oh yeah, maybe I remember that username, or maybe I remember your avatar from a few weeks ago. But I would say it's more, of a community, even if it is just 400 people compared to like the multi-thousand people over on Oscar Race. Let's see. Coming down the lines, there's more Devil Wears Prada stuff that I don't really feel like talking about. There's a Nora versus Florida project. Some like Florida more. Nora was enough. Let me get away from all of this Devil Wears Prada stuff. I think Neon is almost definitely going to buy something that can. We already saw they can get 3 in the pick. 3. Oh, almost got 3 in the pick. So I don't really buy. I mean, yeah, that's true that they can coexist. I just think historically they come into the fest with just one, and they usually buy their additional one. Like last year, they bought Surat, they bought Accident. I'm pretty sure they bought The Secret Agent as well. They just came with sentimental value, and they came with another movie. Oh, they came with Alpha. Everyone remembers Alpha. I think I'm going to go see Alpha tomorrow, actually, before the drama, so I can finally weigh in. Is Alpha better than Titan? Hot take. It's a low bar to clear. Whatever. Saying, could Mubi make it in this year? I would say with Polakowski, is there a better shot? I will always be an Andrew Hay denier. I think he is just like Scott Cooper. I think this is a guy who makes Academy bait movie year after year and gets continuously rejected by the Academy year after year. And I think Polakowski is someone that we've heard rumblings that it's pretty great. The real question I think comes to, does Mubi know what they were doing? Substance obviously got Best Picture, but I think Substance Best Picture success was a lot like Everything Everywhere's Best Picture win success. How much of that was the studio? How much of that was the organic online buzz from the younger demographic rating these films as supreme, saying these are the shit, we want to see these happen? So that's a question for Mubi this year: can they campaign on their own? Is it going to be more ambitious than Drive My Car? Totally can. We don't know nothing about the quality yet, but that's the fun of the season, is guessing everything here. I'm going to skip down to some of these here because it's some back and forth conversation of people in the chat, which is all good. Keep conversating down there. Just I don't really have much to add to some of this stuff. Here we go. Coming down to Elizabeth. I don't have Sense and Sensibility, Jack of Spades, or Michael in my top 10, but I have them in your top 20. And I think that's fair enough. I think those are three movies that could be a little bit higher up in people's Oscar predictions at this point. But again, we're a year out. These are three films that obviously could be something major, could not be. Michael could be a huge box office play with text galore, with 2+ above the line nominations. Jack of Spades is Cohen coming back after Tragedy of Macbeth, which was probably somewhere between like 11 and 15 in picture. It still got Denzel in, still got a tech or two in. And Jack of Spades is something original, something new. Maybe the hesitation last time around was the whole Macbeth adaptation. This time, it can be fresh and unpreconceived notions. And then Sense and Sensibility is focused as top dog. They just delayed it after a test screening to be in prime award season window slots. It's able to go to TIFF. It's able to go to Telluride. I feel like something's there. I don't understand why it's so low on Awards Expert, but you know. All right. Coming down here to Banjo, F1, Wicked, Avatar, Elvis, Fire at Calling Populist Picks. Yes. Do I stay with them all the time? No. But yeah, sometimes I like to take wild swings. We have Die My Love, which was a swing last year. I admitted it wasn't going to happen, but I wanted to be something different. I wanted to be something bold, because people make these bold claims at the start of the season in March saying, I think After the Hunt is winning 4 or 5 Oscars. I can sit here and be like, I know After the Hunt is not winning 4 or 5 Oscars. Luca, I love Challengers. I love Bones and All. I love Suspiria. He's not that guy. So instead of predicting After the Hunt, even though I'm not confident in it, why don't I be fun and predict Die My Love? They got the same amount of nominations at the end of the day. They got the same amount of Globes noms. So people saying After the Hunt winning picture, and they can breeze by that because, oh, Venice just didn't like it. And they want to clown for Die My Love. Yeah. Putting a lot of chips on Behemoth as long as they've released it this year, predicting a big comeback year for Searchlight with this and Wild Horse 9. I think it's totally fair to predict both. I would say Wild Horse 9 has shown everything that we need to be their top dog, be their main contender, be the film that they want to push this award season. It's just, can they get 2? If Wild Horse 9 goes to Cannes, they have an open Venice slot. They always go to Venice. And I would say this year, there should have been a sign when Searchlight sent nothing to Venice that maybe Searchlight was in trouble. So yeah, if Behemoth goes to Venice, I totally could be down in that. Brad saying 2025. Oh, jeez, I'm like 20 minutes behind these comments. Let me try to catch up a little bit. 2025 was impossible in March. Yeah. 2 out of 10, Wicked. I'm glad to take that one here. You're saying the A consensus 1 or 2 out of 10. I was in that 2 out of 10. It's not Hamnet, but they're giving it their prime slot. We haven't seen Focus fail with a slot since Harriet, and Harriet was arguably top 15. It still got Cynthia Erivo in for lead actress everywhere. It still got a song nom, so clearly it was still in the conversation. I just don't understand why people have sensibility at like 25. I saw someone have it at 60. Like, no, this is their prime contender, at least at this point in the season. At least put it top 20, top 15 at least. Currently, I don't have it in, but I don't have any real official predictions out yet. Those are waiting for the video on next Saturday. But currently, I would have Dune Part 2 on my outside looking in. No, I will not predict Divorce Product 2. Let's see. I guess to this, these aren't my official predictions in Awards Expert. It's kind of putting things there to kind of see what it could all look out. For Midnight Critics, I had to submit some early predictions before I was exactly ready. So I kind of used those to kind of formulate my Midnight Critics predictions for Above the Line, but those are not my confirmed 100% ones heading into the video that we're recording on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, I like I said before, my reasoning for Die My Love was more so if people are predicting things I feel so confident aren't happening in Jammed, I know you felt this way with After the Hunt too. Why not be more fun and predict something unique and original and different to be your big swing and a miss than saying After the Hunt's winning picture, director, screenplay, IO, Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, like some people were doing, or going to another year saying like, oh, Blitz is winning X, Y, and Z. Like, no, have a fun thing up there in your best picture lineup instead of just predicting something because you kind of feel like you have to predict it, you know? Shout out to Cap here. Hello, Cap. How are you doing today? Coming down here, just watch Project Hail Mary. I think this will be nominated for picture, screenplay, actor, cinematography, editing, production design, score, sound, visual effects. And I think it wins sound, production design, visual effects. Moonfall is big on the Project Hail Mary camp. And honestly, I don't think that's that crazy of a take. That all totally could happen. Get nominated for all that stuff, win 3 Oscars. For me, I'm not exactly there yet, but I totally understand and I respect the swing at this point. Cap saying Hooler could get nominated for Project Hail Mary. I mean, we'll look at supporting actors a little bit more in detail when we open up Awards Expert here in a second. Not the craziest take, honestly, looking at what we could have on the horizon. And supporting actors has, at least in the last few years, been pretty atrocious, I would personally say, in terms of the quality of the lineup compared to who are some of the people on the outside looking in. Moonfall saying director is possible. I agree. I think it's kind of like what I said earlier. It really depends on what type of movie this is. If it's top 5, I think it's possible. I think they could be like, I'm trying to think of some populist directors from the past, like Coogler or Nolan for Dunkirk, or what's his name? George Miller for Fury Road, where like the film is just that strong. It's that high in the best picture race where they just kind of have to happen. Where like Villeneuve for Dune or Gerwig for Barbie, those films, and Del Toro for Frankenstein, those films were no longer top 5 in pictures. So their directors kind of had to fall off. J Ram saying, I'm banking on Michael for makeup. I think Jafar will have a chance at actor, seeing against Globes and SAG. That's kind of how I feel too. Even if Michael flops in terms of awards, people pan it, say, oh, this movie is trash, it's shit. I think makeup is going to stay around. This branch does not care about the quality of the movie. They'll pick movies that no one's even seen to get nominated as long as the work is good enough. Let's see, coming down here. And then I'm almost all caught up with these comments, and then we can finally dive inside of Awards Expert here. I do agree with Maury here. I don't think Jafar happens unless picture happens, but I think that if picture happens, Jafar is kind of a lock. I think that if Michael succeeds, it's because of obviously the box office appeal of it, as well as how Jafar is able to embody Michael Jackson. And I think that there's somebody like Austin Butler and Elvis a few years ago. People don't need to know who you are. They just need to know that they like your movie and that you embody the icon that you are performing on the stage. Thoughts on Cry to Heaven and Dune Part 3. Cry to Heaven is something I am not considering in any category until I know it's coming out this year. I don't want to fall in the trap of spending March, April, May, June, July, August, 6 months predicting something just for Venice to happen. It's like, oh, we're not ready for Venice. So I will, just like The Brutalist, not include it until it's confirmed for 2026. One, that kind of holds open some space for some predictions in other categories. And two, it's so I don't have to predict a movie that I would say is 50-50, maybe 60-40 to even coming out this year. Yeah, I'm not having this Divorce Part 2 propaganda. Okay, what is Odyssey's win package coming here from Elizabeth? If Odyssey is our best picture winner, Nolan is able to do something that no one has done in a long time, if ever, go back-to-back best picture wins. It would be picture. Nolan would obviously come around for director for round 2. Adapting the unadaptable of the Odyssey, making it work. And it's Christopher Nolan. So, putting a new spin in a new, I would say, pace to the movie. So with that being said, screenplay, editing, I don't think it needs an acting win. You could say maybe Damon or maybe Hathaway could happen, but like I don't think it needs an acting win. I would then say casting would happen because while you may not need an acting win, I just think casting, what showed me this year is you need to check off some of the boxes. And I think some of the boxes would include your Best Picture winner. I think it would include acting nominations. And I think it would include showing up at SAG, at BAFTA, and at the Guild. And I think The Odyssey can do all that. So that's 5 wins currently. I would then add it for, so what do I have? I have picture, director, screenplay, casting, editing. I would then obviously throw in some tech. So let's throw production design, costume design, sound. That's 8 right there. And 8 seems like a lot, but I mean, we're predicting the insanity right now of someone going back to back in Best Picture, which hasn't been done in like forever. Can you discuss visual effects category? We will in a second. Don't worry. Haig is not making Academy bait. He doesn't give a fuck. I mean, I guess let me rectify that a little bit. Is he making movies for Oscars? No, but he's making the type of movies I think Oscar people would go out for if they cared, if that makes sense. Top 4 fave Best Picture winners of all time. Let's go Moonlight. I love La La Land, but I think what the Moonlight win stands for is really cool. I think Moonlight is one of the early films that made me love award season at large. I remember going to see that at the little art house theater. If anyone here is from Richmond, Virginia, Bowtie, they used to have a little theater inside the train station, like the little train sstation. It was like 4 rows in that theater. So you had this in the back row unless you wanted to like stare up like the Oppenheimer meme. Cinema right there. Young, what would I have been like 15-year-old, fall in love with movies. So Moonlight would be there. I mean, I would throw Oppenheimer. A Nolan head, so I think Nolan getting his Best Picture win works for me, and it's something I actually got to live through. Going older, though, Titanic, James Cameron, even watching Titanic here 26, 27, 28, 30 years later, 25 years later, however old it is since Titanic, is still an experience. People can fall in love with it. Got to see in 4DX on Valentine's Day. That was an experience. Or not Valentine's Day, but Valentine's weekend. That was an experience. I think Titanic is like the best example of all time of like populist blockbuster filmmaking on the best grandest scale of all time. And for a 4th one, like, let's go Amadeus. I love Amadeus. Do I know anything about that award season? No, but Amadeus is a great movie, so I'm happy that it is a Best Picture winner. What movie in the last 5 years you wish was more of an Oscar player? You wish Sorry Baby was nominated for more. Let's flip that a little bit. Sorry Baby, sorry to bother you. Boots Riley. I want that man on the award season campaign. I want to see him do Q&As. I want to see him do speeches. I get to see him do a Q&A in like 2 weeks for I Love Boosters. Sorry to bother you. 2018, pretty weak year overall. Easily could have been in for screenplay. Like Keith could have been in the conversation. Picture, editing, makeup. Come on, let's rectify it. Sorry to bother you. I think if Dyl had seen Lynn Ramsey before, he knew Die My Love was a crazy swing to go for. And that's exactly why I wanted to go for it. It was crazy. It was insane. But again, it was to prove a point. Die My Love, After the Hunt. They did the same stuff. So it can't be that crazy of a take to have that number 2 for Best Picture. I feel like Disclosure Day won't be a contestant getting reviews. Honestly, I think Odyssey is like review proof. I think even if it gets mixed reception, it can still just get in off the love of the text and the crafts. So coming down here, I never predicted For the Hunt to be for Best Picture. I did predict Rental Family. It was just an accident. Wicked for Good. Was a Wicked for Good head all year long. Too big to fail. They filmed at the same time. What could go wrong? And then if we were doing like a recut of our like predictions throughout the year and doing our little mashup video at the end, I went to see Wicked for my birthday last year on Broadway. I got to rewatch it. I've been an avid Wicked hater on the stage. I hated it when I saw it like 4 years ago. But then that's part of the reason why I love Wicked Part 1 so much is because it fixed all my issues. It made it so good. But then I watched the stage version again. I was like, Act 2 is hot trash. Jonathan Bailey does not do more. These songs have no choreography. What are we doing? And then I kept it. I didn't drop it. I had another chance to rectify my prospects for it, and I did it. So L can hold that one. Shout out Cap. Let's just say recognize you. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Yes, Josh here saying the GOAT Lee's Cap. Everyone in award space should know who Lee's Cap is. One of the most influential insiders that we have here in the space. Elizabeth saying Project Hail Mary is top 5 but no director. I would agree. Jammed here saying 6 nominations: picture, screenplay, production design, visual effects, score, sound. Come on, Jam. we know you want to do Ryan Gosling. Throw Gosling in there too. Maybe screenplay. Okay, I'm just gonna look at the rest of the comments so we can get all caught up. Okay, cool. I'll throw this one up. Please cap goat so I can remember I'm down there. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into what we're here to do today. So the first thing I want to do is look at holding myself accountable. First, I do want to start with my positives. I want to start up with some of my positives here because I will say here at Fantasy Filmball, if you want a reason to subscribe to us, if you want a reason to recommend us anywhere, is look at this screen mirror is weird. Look at this nomination accuracy. 240th, 848th, 220th, 247th, 80th. We can ignore that bad one down in 2020, but like nominations is something that I personally feel like I've done pretty good at. Once I have the intel, once I see the movies, once I hear how people talk about these movies and have the stats to go off of, consistently 77+% getting these final nomination predictions. And I mean, those numbers, they don't lie. 80th on Gold Derby, which I do want to say, Gold Derby, I think, has officially fallen off, and Awards Expert is now on top. When I was compiling these numbers, I was 240th on Awards Expert this past season. I was like 100th on Gold Derby. That's like 140 people difference between the applications. But shout out to the app. But yeah, so here, nomination accuracy, something that I can hold myself a positive with. Now, coming back to a graphic I showed before, let's hold myself accountable. Final win accuracy down here. This is an area for me to improve. And as you've seen, I have improved year after year since starting Filmball. First year, everything everywhere year, 14 of 23. Pretty sure I screwed up on all the shorts. I was with Elvis winning with actor and costumes and makeup. So that's 3 L's just right there. 3 shorts, that's 6. I can't remember what else I got wrong that night, but clearly 2023, first year here at Fantasy Filmball, was not my time for final win predictions. And then 2024, it goes up a little bit. We get 2 more extra wins. This is what year was this? This was the Oppenheimer year. Trying to think of some of my big wrong ones. I did not have Born the Heron. I got shorts wrong again, probably. I did not have Oppie. Oh, I did not have Zone and Sound. I had Oppie. I think I did not go with my gut and Poor Things. Jam can attest to this. Early Poor Things defender here on the space. And at the end, I think I did not predict it for makeup, and I did not predict it for costumes. I had Barbie for costumes and Maestro for makeup. Boom. L's. 2025, though, we continue to go up. We stair step. Anora year. What did I get wrong here? I think I got editing wrong. I think, again, short screw us. I would love if there could be like a little like score with shorts and score without shorts, because consistently I just continue to get screwed over with the shorts. But then last year, 20 of 24, pretty good. If I was not a doofus and didn't predict the Secret Agent over Sentimental Value, that's 21 of 24. Then if I had listened to Matt and listened to my gut saying, well, One Battle makes sense to win casting, it's going to be our Best Picture winner. It was ineligible at the Guild. It got nominated at the BAFTA. It got nominated at the SAG. It has an acting winner. It checks off all my internal boxes for this category. If I did that, it was 22 of 24. So year after year, we're improving, we're stair-stepping, we're getting better. So what I hope to come back here next year, 2027, is to tell you, hey, 22 of 24, because we went 14, 16, 18, 20. Let's go up to 22 of 24 next year. Is that possible? I don't really know. But let's come over here to screen record now. Let's hope this goes well. It took me forever to get this set up, so let's see if it goes well. Boom, it is responding to me. So let's look at Awards Expert right now. Someone said they want to see visual effects. Let's start off at visual effects. So here's what the community has right now. They have Dune Part 3 as their winner in Best Visual Effects. 64% at large on 2,100 votes. What I have this as my winner at the moment. Probably not. And that's because, to what Maury in our comments said a little bit earlier, I currently probably don't have Dune Part 3 in Best Picture. And I think that Dune is not Avatar. Avatar is the visual effects franchise. People think of Avatar and they think of VFX. People think of Dune and think of the world building. They think of the sets. They think of the score. And I think that's another question. If the score is eligible this year, what could happen? For me, though, we return to the VFX stat. If you're a Best Picture nominee and you're in this category, you win. And for me, Project Hail Mary is a Best Picture nominee. It's going to be in this category. It can win. And that's why at this point, I mean, it's March, but I would say Project Hail Mary should be the front runner in visual effects. Dune would be my close second, but if Dune gets in Best Picture or Dune sweeps the season just like Avatar, then yeah, I go with Dune. But I don't see Dune being a Best Picture at this moment. I don't see Dune sweeping the season with visual effects. So maybe my 1 and 2. I would throw Narnia into my 5. I guess I'll highlight like that. Avengers probably is there. The last few movies have gotten that nominations. That leaves us for the 5th slot. I do not believe in Godzilla -0. That was a one-time thing. Godzilla -1. It only happened because there's no visual effects contenders that year. People outright rejected the creator. Napoleon, people didn't love the movie as much as I did. And the rest of the nominees were like fake films. So like, I don't know. I just don't feel like there's a reason to come back around for Godzilla -0. The Odyssey, how much is real, how much is practical, and how much is visual effects? I mean, we've seen the trailer. We know Cyclops at least is visual effects. I think that could be enough to get in, but also maybe not. Maybe they do come down and do Disclosure Day. They do Star Wars because Star Wars films consistently get shouts here in the visual effects category. Spider-Man, the last one got in. We don't need to acknowledge Supergirl because DC can't do anything even with an empty category just like last year. And I mean, I don't know, the further I scroll down, there's nothing really here to look at. So I would say for the visual effects, heads down the chat. Project Hail Mary has my early frontrunner status. Dune makes sense. I think it will be nominated. I don't know if there's a world where Dune doesn't get nominated, but I currently don't have it out as my frontrunner because someone said down here is, what if Dune is just Avatar? It could be. And if it starts to sweep, it wins CCA, it wins the Guilds, it wins the BAFTA, then it just wins the Oscar regardless of its Best Picture status. And I think that is the thing to think here is it, what am I trying to say? Is it a sweeper? Sweeper neglects the Best Picture status of it all. But if it's not a sweeper, then I think I lean to the stronger movie, which in this case would be Project Hail Mary. So after overpredicting Wicked 2 and Joker 2 so much in the last few years, Dune 3 is a breathing sigh of relief. Being cavalier on it. Yeah, I mean, Joker 2, Joker 2, I can fully admit, I was just in it. There was a time where I think anyone could sit there and be like, yeah, this movie's cooked. But I was in it. I didn't want to give up. You got to support the auteur that is Todd Phillips. You got to support Folia Doo-Doo. That's a film. To the comment before saying, what film do you wish had more of an award season presence? Folia Doo, let alone anything else. Get that original song in there. Get Joaquin Phoenix in there. I want to see him give another speech. Oh, I just realized I made this updated banner and I haven't played it once. So let's get it going. Here's your current awards expert top 25 with movement since the last time we did a stream. It only took me an hour to remember that. But that means we're having fun today. Oh, you can see my little cursor here. That's weird because my phone is not my laptop. Cool. But coming back over to the comments here. Gunther saying Disclosure Day will be among the top 5 visual effects. It totally could. I'm a denier of Disclosure Day above the line, but I think visual effects, I think sound, score, even for John Williams, I think those all can happen. I personally would, I would say either Disclosure Day or Odyssey would be or Amanda would be my 5th slot at the moment. I guess if I come over here, let's see. Let me do this real quick. Let's put that there. Boom. So yeah, I guess that's kind of how I look at this moment. Odyssey, Disclosure Day, Spider-Man, Godzilla, Mando, and all this other stuff down here. Are these official? No, but they're for fun to, keep tracking along. But yeah, in terms of consensus right here, Dune currently is out front. So I guess at this point too, let me make another one of these banners real quick and just see what categories everyone wants to see. because we'll just go like that. We've kind of gone off the rails now, so now it's kind of time just to embrace going off the rails here. So we've done visual effects, and I guess while I wait for some people to drop their comments of what category they want to see, I paid, as you can see, I paid for a month of StreamYard. Don't know how I like it so far. As you can kind of see the screen here, it doesn't look great. Like, why? Let's see. Like, why won't this go over anymore? Like, this is the furthest it lets me put it. It won't let me put it any further when I try to adjust my screen. It doesn't look good there. There's open space to the side. I'm paying $10 a week for this. I should be able to have a little bit more customability and creativity with this. But that's neither here nor there. So we have some comments here. We have sound. So let's go to sound next. Let's go to sound. Here, it's kind of similar over to visual effects, honestly. Dune's here, Project Hail Mary's here. And again, I think this comes down to a strength. I think this is a category more so than visual effects, where Dune can live and win this, even if Project Hail Mary is the stronger movie overall. Does that make it the most sense? Maybe not, but I just think that Dune, regardless of its picture strength, would have a better chance of living here than it would in visual effects in terms of the win, just because when you think of Project Hail Mary, you're not thinking as much about the sound. You're thinking more about the visuals of it all and the fact that they're in space. And there is space sound effects, but I'm going to assume Dune has even more space sound effects, you know? But Odyssey's here. I mean, if Odyssey's winning Best Picture, then you could just throw Odyssey to be another win down the line. Disclosure Day, Michael, it's a music movie. There's going to be giant concerts. Like, this is a category, even if it is missing on Best Picture, it could live in the realm. But with Avatar missing last year, with Wicked missing this category last year, it gives me a little hesitation, a pause for putting Michael into sound, even if it's not in the Best Picture lineup. Narnia makes a lot of sense, like I said, with the Frankenstein comparisons. It could be a tech-heavy movie. I think it was Banjo was telling me the other day that the Narnia book it's based on isn't as action-heavy, isn't as like world-building heavy. It's more taking place in London itself. So maybe there's not as much sound work to really jump off the page. But I think 6 is a fair spot for it. We've heard some stuff about Digger. We've heard that it could be an across-the-board player. We've heard that it could just be an acting play. So 7 isn't bad. Jesse Eisenberg, musical comedy. I mean, if you believe in it, sure. I've given my stance for why I don't believe in this. A Real Pain could sweep a supporting acting category. It could win a BAFTA award for a screenplay and still couldn't make picture. Why would his next movie be even bigger and more broadly accessible in terms of needing to get the Best Picture, needing to get those number ones? And if it's not in Best Picture, why would it pick up stuff like sound? We've heard that it's maybe not a musical, that it's just someone performing on stage. So, like, I don't know. Sound doesn't make sense for it. Cry to Heaven, again, like I said, Cry to Heaven is one that I'm just staying away from until we know that it's 2026. Werewolf, I wasn't wearing my Nosferatu shirt, but last time when I stood in front of this camera, this ring light for like 3 hours, I got really hot. That shirt is really hot, so didn't want to wear it. But Werewolf, this is one that I want to go out for this year, not in sound, but like just across the board, because I was a Nosferatu guy. I was a guy saying like, oh, Nosferatu, it can happen. Watch, it's going to go to Venice. People are going to take it serious. It's going to get 5 text, picture, and adapted screenplay. It got 4 texts. That's pretty close, but it didn't go to Venice. I don't think people ever took Nosferatu seriously, and I don't have a reason to believe that Focus is going to switch up for Werewolf. If they didn't send Nosferatu to Venice, why would they send Werewolf to Venice? And for me, I don't think that people are going to take this movie serious unless they're told to be taken serious, just like Nosferatu. Nosferatu had 4 consistent tech nominations. 5 if you want to say score, because it got in basically everywhere but the Oscars. And it never made one Best Picture lineup. F1 even made PGA. Weapons even made PGA. Like, I don't know. I just don't have a reason to really back Werewolf at this point. I guess I should have asked like a cleaner way for these comments to like see who one we want to do, because now I have a shit ton of y'all, which I appreciate, but now I don't really know where I was at or who's responding to what. Rocky would be the for sound. Yeah, I guess Rocky is a great point for sound. Banjo here saying the top 5 is kind of facts. Yeah, I mean, Like I said, I think this five's good. If you want to throw in like Behemoth, if that movie is real, because it's a movie about music, you could throw it up there. Maybe not into the 5, but into the 10 for the short list. Doomsday, the Marvel movies always get shortlisted, so it could be there. Same thing with Star Wars. I do think the top 5 plus Narnia, those 2 other movies I mentioned, will probably make up the majority of our short list. It's just where the rest of those movies come from. All right, Cap saying he wants to see cinematography. All right, so let's go over to cinematography here. And currently, awards expert has The Odyssey at number 1. Hoyt van Hoytema coming back after winning for Oppenheimer. And I mean, it makes sense. What we've seen with the cinematography branch year after year as of late, they hear the cool aspect that you do as I just unplugged my laptop. They hear the cool aspect for cinematography that they do year after year. And I mean, one battle had the VistaVision, it lost, but it lost to Sinners that had the IMAX 70mm. Then the year before, we had Brutalist with the VistaVision, Oppenheimer with the black and white IMAX, so on and so forth, going years and years before. Odyssey is the first film exclusively shot for IMAX 70mm. That sounds like what this branch typically likes to go for their winners. So yeah, I'm on board for this. Digger, we've heard, looks really cool. We've seen the bits in the trailer. Lebowski, though, I don't buy another Lebowski W. Project Hail Mary looks really great. I don't buy a win. I think a nomination is even a question. Same thing for Dune Part 3. I'm a little bit of a Lion Sandgren hater. So this is a nomination I could see fall off the table for Dune Part 3, especially if it misses picture, but I understand why it's top 5 here, and Werewolf being here. I don't know they're doing anything cool or interesting with the camera in Werewolf. I know a big reason to why I was on the cinematography train for Nosferatu all year long was the fact that they said that they created a special type of lens for Nosferatu to make it more dreamy and hazy and all of the stuff they did for Nosferatu. I haven't heard any of that for Werewolf yet, so maybe this is a nomination that doesn't need to happen, just like Nosferatu got in for cinematography. We come to next in line, though, and here's where I see some stuff that you could move up. Let me just move this cursor so it's out of the way. Fatherland, 1949. It's Luca Zhao. Yes, he just missed out for Hamnet, but what I would say for Luca Zhao is they snub him, but they snub him when he does something that this branch doesn't go for. Like Zone of Interest was a security cam footage. Was it great security cam footage? Yeah. But like, why would the branch nominate that? They didn't nominate Hamnet, but Hamnet didn't have the Lucas Zhao like wide angles or weird camera angles or anything like that. It was a pretty standardly shot film. Fatherland, we could assume, might have some black and white because Pawlikowski loves his black and white movies. We can assume it's going to have some crazy shit in it, like some of his older films. So, like, I think this is something that needs to be boosted up. It's in 7. I could see this being 2 or even 3 behind The Odyssey. Disclosure Day, I guess if you're a believer in that. Jack of Spades could happen. Wild Horse 9's trailer looks pretty vibrant. Narnia has Seamus, who got some love for Die My Love last year, a film that no one cared about, but still, he shot it in an interesting way, had the film and everything. So maybe if Narnia shot in the similar fashion, it could happen. And yeah, I guess let me plug my laptop in because my laptop's old. I've had it since 2020. It likes to drain battery really quick. But while I do that, I guess let's look down here at some of these comments. If anyone has stuff on stuff, I bounced on it crazy style. I don't know what that was in reference to. Is that for Hoyt? Is that for something else? I mean, I show up for the stuff I love, but I don't know what this one I bounced on for. By being based on 1920s German expressionist film, Nosferatu feels like it would be taken more serious, and a werewolf would be. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. And like I said, if Nosferatu, to use the Real Pain connection as well, if Nosferatu was taken so serious or wasn't taken that serious, why would this one be taken as serious? Just like A Real Pain, if that got everything it needed to make picture and still couldn't, it misses out to a film that had zero presence anywhere. And Nickel Boy is a film that was dying at the last moments. Like, I just don't know why I come around this time for Werewolf, and Jam knows it too. We were the Nosferatu fan club from the start of the season. We were saying Robert Eggers could be a director player. We were saying it could get adapted. We were saying 4 or 5 texts, and it got all those besides score. So, like, I don't know. Diego here saying Odyssey will be good, but not best picture material. I can buy that. I don't really want to predict Odyssey for best picture. Like I said, we are doing our final best picture or our first Best Picture predictions on Saturday. I still don't know what I have winning yet. Honestly, I guess it's my placeholder, but like I said for After the Hunt, I don't want to put something I don't actually see. If I'm going to put something at number one, why not make it fun? The Odyssey is fun for a Nolan back-to-back, but it's not fun the way I want to have fun. Banjo saying, I think Dune could miss. Sanderson trailer doesn't look as good as Fraser's work. I agree with that. I'm not going to go in any Linus hate. Linus is not my guy. Michael Ballman, Oscar nominated cinematographer One Battle, is doing A24's Tony for Matt Johnson. Shortlist, it could be. I mean, Shortlist does like 20 movies. It could happen. I think a large reason for why Ballman won so much for One Battle After Another was kind of what I was talking about before, is this branch seems to adore the cinematographers who are introducing something new and doing it in a bold style. One Battle was shot for VistaVision, was showing in IMAX, and I mean, it has those like screen grab moments. Is Tony gonna have that stuff? Are they shooting Tony in VistaVision? I doubt. So like, I think it could happen for a shortlist, like what you're saying, but that's more so because shortlist does like 18 movies. Like Song Sung Blue made the shortlist this year, but Song Sung Blue has some cool cinematography. Let's see. Banjo saying Hamnet made sense for the branch to go for. I mean, it did, but like, I understand why it missed. It's a lot of stagnant shots. It's not a lot of camera movement happening throughout Hamnet. Is it using interesting lens composition or shot compositions? Is it doing anything with the lens? And the camera just didn't feel dynamic to me. I'm a Hamnet head. I love Hamnet, but like, cinematography makes sense to miss, especially when it's missing for One Battle with the VistaVision aspect, Sinners with the IMAX ratios. What else made that lineup? I'm blanking on what was in the lineup. Frankenstein, with how dreamy it is, and that's a prime example of the camera moving throughout. The camera is like a character in Frankenstein. Same thing for Marty Supreme. Like, while I don't love the cinematography of Marty Supreme, the way they're using lenses, shooting from far away, the camera always is on the move. It works. So like, I kind of get in Train Dreams. I mean, pretty shots of trees, people like that. But yeah, let's go off to actress now. Let's go off to actress. I'm not going to go through every category. Like I said, I didn't want to be here for 3 hours. We're already at an hour 20. So maybe I can get up to 2 hours, and then we'll call it wraps. I do want to get a call in here, though, because I keep saying we're going to do calls, and I haven't got one yet. So I do want to get a call in here, but we'll do that shortly. But looking at actress right now for the community, yeah, this lineup, I feel confident there's like a 1, maybe 2 out of 5 that are getting the nomination here. But yeah, Memory Police, haven't heard anything about this movie. Maybe someone can let me know in the comments their thoughts on the Memory Police, but this just seems like people wanting Lily Gladstone to kind of come back around, because I mean, we saw that year, people really, really, really wanted her to win that actress over Emma Stone for Poor Things. Emma Stone ended up winning, and we kind of really haven't seen Lily Gladstone much since then. The one I feel the most confident here is for Sandra Hüller for Fatherland. Again, let me move my mouse. I don't know why it's showing over that, but Sandra Hüller for Fatherland. I mean, I'm a big believer of 1949, Fatherland, whatever we want to call it. I think this will be a major player. It's just really the question, can Mubi pull it off? But I don't think Mubi needs to do that much if this just wins the Palm, or if this wins a major prize at the Palm. I think it can kind of live on its own. But Hüller is someone who is doing a lot this year. She's in Digger, she's in Project Hail Mary, she's in this, she's in another movie as well. She's going to be everywhere, and this is what I would assume to be her biggest showcase performance of the year. So for me, she would probably be my number 1 in the category. That 7%, that includes me. Then we get the 2 people. I don't understand why they're I understand why they're here, but I don't understand why they're here like this high. Yes, Mikey Madsen is starring in The Social Reckoning by Aaron Sorkin, who is a master of getting these above the line nominations in his films. Each one of his directed films has gotten at least 1 above the line nomination. But what I would say for that is Molly's Game was just screenplay. Trial just got 1 actor in screenplay, is Baron Cohen, who the whole film I felt like was pushed around his narrative. Then we had, what was his other one? The Ricardos, which had all the acting and no screenplay. I kind of feel like if Social Reckoning is not a picture thing, Can it get Mikey Madsen in? Can it get Jeremy Strong in? Can it get Jeremy Allen White in? Can it get screenplay? And it's not going to get all 4 of those in. I think the reason why Ricardo's got all of its actors in that year is look at those acting races. They were whack as shit. There was no one in those categories. Supporting actor line that year is atrocious. That's how J.K. Simmons got in. Even the lead categories too. It's like, who was the alternative? Mahershala Ali in Swan Song? Peter Dinklage in Cyrano. It makes sense why Javier Bardem would get in for a biopic performance. Nicole Kidman, I think, was a mainstay. She was a frontrunner to win. I think that just kept her in the conversation all year long. Like, I don't know. Social Reckoning is a film that I don't want to take too serious, but I also can't just ignore whatsoever. But her being at number 2 is craziness to me. I feel like she's someone who like would be the representation nomination for the movie if it happens. Not she's so strong that she could win. I think this is just people wanting to love on Mikey Madsen a little bit. And then Julianne Moore for Untitled, Jesse Eisenberg, No One Cares, whatever. I mean, she could be singing. It's a musical. It's said that she is a housewife who is bored and wants to try something new. She wants to sing. So we could assume that she's probably going to sing in this. Your question has to be is how good can Julianne Moore sing? Is she singing good on purpose, or maybe she's singing bad on purpose? Because I would assume from the plot synopsis that she might not supposed to be very good. But I mean, looking in this category, we see our 5 here. Let's go down to like the next lines. We don't see many comedy performances. So I think Julianne Moore's path to survivability, because obviously I'm not a believer in this movie, is to be the Globes win. Like Rose Byrne this year. Rose Byrne won the Globe, and I think that's a big reason to why she stayed in the season even after the critics push, because she was a lone nom for her movie. Nothing else was coming forward. And like this year, Rose Byrne won, but like who would be number 2? Kate Hudson, Emma Stone, Chase Infinity. Byrne got the win, and it kept her in the race right now, just like what we see in the last 2 years for the Brazil actors, Wagner Moura and Fernando Torres. They won their Globe category to keep them alive in the award season conversation. So for me, Moore is someone who I would keep around like the 5-6 range, where like she's there not because I want to believe in it, but because it makes sense for a Globe's comedy push sort of thing. And then there's Renata Reinsva. I mean, she's Reinsva. She always turns in something good. Do I think she's going to win it for this? No. 64% seems crazy. Looking at awards expert at large, of our 4 acting wins, I'm 0-4 with them. I don't know what their track record is. I would assume it's not very good this far in advance, but neither is probably mine either. So maybe she happens. But yeah, I did see a comment earlier. I do want to circle back to. It was about the there it is, Brad talking about the Cynthia Erivo movie. It's based on a play, a one-woman play that Jodie Comer did over in the West End, and I think she won their Olivier Award for best performance. And apparently Jodie Comer was fantastic. She was amazing in that. This is not going to be a one-woman. There's other cast members as well, but it's Erivo. Know she's really talented. We know that the Academy likes her. She's a multiple-time nominee. Harriet here with now Wicked, and she's got nominated for Song for Harriet, not for Wicked. So like, I feel like this is something that could happen for me. I need to know who the distributor is. This feels like it could be the Blue Moon of this year, where Sony Pictures Classic just makes Ethan Hawke a thing. Ethan Hawke shows up everywhere, and I feel like Prima Facie could do that for Cynthia Erivo next year. But again, I need to know who the distributor is. But again, this top 5, I only believe in 1, maybe 2 names. So like, I don't mind throwing Cynthia Erivo in my 5 and just banking on a distributor getting her. But then I'm coming down here. I was like, who else do I throw in here? Daisy Edgar Jones, I guess. I'm assuming Frances McDormand is supporting, and then like who knows? But yeah, let's look at some of these other comments here. I'm able to put Zendaya number 1. No, sadly, I'm not. Like I said, I feel really good about Sandra Hüller. But I see the drama tomorrow, so who knows? Maybe that will change. Memory Police is not coming out anytime soon. Yeah, so I think looking back here, when we look back in a year, like, oh, Awards Expert was like 1 of 5 for their top 5 in Best Actress. But that's cool. It's good when you don't know your contenders this far in advance. But yeah, like Banjo said, one woman show, Jodie Comer won a the British version of a Tony for, and apparently she was really, really, really good. Yeah, Jam doing Anya for Dune 3. Banjo saying we believe in Mikey Madsen. I think I would have to put her in my 5 just because, like I said, I don't know who else to fill up a list with. Josh here saying Memory Police hasn't even begun production after being announced 3 to 4 years ago. Some of those movies that never comes out. Yeah, like all those people predicting Mother Mary year after year after year, and it's finally coming out, and now no one's predicting it. Let's see. Coming down here. I would be down with if Gambino could get a little supporting nom for Yoshi. All right, I'm trying to get rid of that so that can stop popping up every time. Let's see. I got some comments to catch up on before. Then we'll do like another category or two, and then I'll get this caller in. Because I do want to talk about that because I think that'll be a fun thing to talk about here. So where was I? I was looking at the voice actor stuff here. Gambino for Yoshi. I actually just rewatched Super Mario with my girlfriend last night. She really liked it. She was locked in. And I think that's the point of the Mario movies. And I don't really get why people like shit on animation like that. Like they're designed for people who love the games to want to go play the game. We're sitting here watching like, I want to play Smash Bros. I want to play Mario Kart. I want to play Super Mario. Like mission accomplished. It's fun. It's got good jokes. I don't know. I think people want a 10 out of 10 masterpiece with Illumination movies. Like, no, Illumination movies are just dumb fun. Minions. Hell yeah. Hulu seems to work like a horse. Don't underestimate Rose. She's got Actress Prize from Berlin. Yeah, that's the other movie I was trying to think of. She's got Rose. She's got Fatherland. She's got Digger. She's got Project Hail Mary. Those 4, she's going to show up for one of them. Fatherland 1949 is the one that I believe in for pictures. That's why I'm bringing her along. But yeah, I mean, maybe Rose is the one to push. Maybe she is supporting nominated for Project Hail Mary, like some people were saying before. Digger, I've heard, though, that she's probably not a player for that. Right now, the race feels like it's going to be pretty weak, so Social Reckoning can be a big player. Yeah, I totally agree. That's the reason why I'm not taking her out whatsoever completely. Like, looking over here to what I would say is like my, I guess, 5 right now. I'm not locked on it or anything. I have Sandra Hüller. I have Daisy Edgar Jones. I've said Sense and Sensibility is something I believe in. Focus has it in a supreme date for it. Arrivo's here, Mikey Madsen and Renata. Those are my 5. I don't feel great about them. I feel good about my top 2. Arrivo, sure, but like I want something else for 4 and 5. But like, what am I going to do here? I don't have All of a Sudden Picture. I don't think that gets an acting play without Picture. Meryl Streep, I guess you have in the convo. Like I have Zendaya on my list. Like that's how you know I don't have enough contenders to even fill out a line of 10. But again, are those secure lock predictions? I don't know quite yet. I do agree, though, with Banjo here. I think that whenever we say stuff looks light at this moment, it always gets stronger. I remember this before I ever really got into the Oscars, but I remember just in college saying like, oh, yeah, 2019. We're in like May. Like there hasn't been a movie I love yet. And then 2019 ended up being like one of the best years of film in the last few years. We got 1917. We got Parasite. We got Hollywood. We got Midsummer. We got Joker. We had Marriage Story. We had so many great movies come out in 2019. But like they all came out in the back half. And I think this year, this is all through an award scope. But like looking at lead actress, I don't see much here. But obviously it can all come back down the line here later. And there's usually a veteran actress who gets a nom because the Academy old heads know them. Yeah, I do agree. I think Moore does fit that profile. That's why I have her here at 6 temporarily. She probably should be in over one of these two. But I just don't feel good about that movie overall. But I mean, Eisenberg has shown that last time around he could get a sweeper out of A Real Pain. So maybe he can get enough for Moore to show up. Let's see here. The Odyssey could be Christopher Nolan's first one to receive nominations for both Razzies and the Oscars. I don't think there'll be anything in the Odyssey worth Razzie nominating just due to how the Razzies kind of think nowadays. But it could happen. Maybe Travis Scott. maybe that's what they could do. Yeah, maybe not. But oh well. Yeah, Edgar Jones is something that I'm believing in right now. I took Latin for 6 years too, Brad. Is it something that I remember? No, but I did enough to pass the class. Last time I say live. I didn't. I don't believe I said it wasn't a best picture contender. Maybe I meant for the win, but I definitely had it in my nominations last time on the last stream. I had it in the same range I have it now, in that 5-6 type range, where I could see it getting nominated for sound, visual effects, adapted editing, production, maybe cinematography, maybe. Gosling maybe, but I still don't think it is a best picture win contender. But I thought it then. I thought the second I saw the movie. I still think it now. I still think it is a best picture nominee. Let's see. I don't think it's animation, just illumination. Maybe people shit on Minions too much. Minions need an Oscar now. They need to come back. People want have like Paddington showing up to the BAFTAs or Grogu at the Oscars. I want to see Bob, Stuart, Kevin. I want to see them at the Oscars, Animated feature. Yeah, you know what? Let's go over to animated feature, because that's a category that we can actually talk about now, because like they're usually like outside the Cannes movies, there's not going to be many surprises coming up here. So I guess let me take away your comments so we can see the screen a little bit better. But yeah, Wildwood currently is the front runner for most people. I think it's probably good. It's probably safe for a nomination. I don't know if I buy the win though. Like, obviously I haven't seen the movie, I haven't seen a trailer, I haven't seen anything from it. But like, this just feels like the thing that people want to happen, but it's not going to end up happening due to either visibility, or it's not living up to expectations or whatever. Because this is a film that people are projecting to win anime feature for like 2-3 years now, and now that's finally here. It's like, I don't know, because like Hoppers has been seen. People love it. It's made a lot of money. I'm not saying Hoppers is winning the category, but like Hoppers is showing that it could win. Same thing for Toy Story 5. I mean, every other one that's been nominated has won the category. I get people are like, oh, we don't need these movies anymore. They're dumb, blah, blah, blah. But clearly the Academy likes them. And I think Shaun the Sheep makes a lot of sense for a nomination. What I think the real question for this category is what is our international movie? Because obviously Toy Story or Hoppers could be the domestic Hollywood frontrunner pick that we see from like The Wild Robot or K-pop or Spider-Verse these last few years. But they've always had an opposition that is more international based. I think that's a large reason why K-pop got the win last year, is there was no strong international contender. People couldn't choose between Arco or Little Amelie for which one was their favorite. Globes didn't give one of them the win. BAFTA didn't even nominate Arco, and I think the Guild didn't even nominate Little Amelie. I could be wrong there, but this year, I mean, we'll find that out at the Cannes Film Festival. What is our international contender this year? But I mean, if one doesn't present itself, then like, I don't know. I feel like Toy Story or Hoppers could just be too big to fail. Like if Inside Out 2 came out last year, could have beat K-pop? Maybe. And like this year, like Toy Story 5, Hoppers feel like they have a case to win this category. Wildwood does too. But we'll figure out who our international contender is here a little bit down the line. Real Pain probably gets in without the wildfires. Maybe. But I think Real Pain showed that it struggled to get Best Picture nominees on the route. Like it showed up some places, but it wasn't consistently getting in. I think that one can make a strong case. Obviously, I'm Still Here got in, but like one can make a case for maybe like September 5 being the surprise 10th slot over Real Pain. Maybe that's a little biased because I did like September 5 a lot, but I think a Real Pain was definitely either 10, 11, or 12. It's just like they had so many chances to make this thing a real thing, and Searchlight clearly showed like we don't have much confidence in it for a picture thing. That's why we rushed to Complete Unknown, where if they didn't rush to Complete Unknown, maybe a Real Pain just strong wills its end to the 2024 ceremony. But then last year, a Complete Unknown could have been Searchlight's thing, and everything could have been fixed around. I did take Latin. I did not like it. My high school had it. And I was like, let's do it. But I don't recall much from it. I still don't see Project Hail Mary because we have a bunch of blockbusters that have more high-profile success. That's true. I guess I'll come up here to the picture one. But like, I feel like Project Hail Mary has done what it needs to do to be the real blockbuster. Like, I don't think Odyssey needs to be looked into the lens as a blockbuster. I think that just counts as Nolan. It's a tech giant. I think that when we're looking at blockbusters, it is Dune, it is Project Hail Mary, it is Michael, it is Disclosure Day, if you want to consider that. Where is he? Oh, it's in the Best Picture lineup. Duh. I think there you can make a case for Project Hail Mary being the strongest of our blockbuster type movies if you exclude the Odyssey, because I think you kind of look at that with another lens. I think it's shown. It is a lot more domestic heavy than international, but you could say the same thing for Sinners last year. Sinners made less money than a Beekeeper outside North America, but Sinners clearly was a film that had so much passion behind it. I don't think Project Hail Mary is to that level, but I do think Project Hail Mary is a film that has shown it's just gonna be here. It's the question is just how strong is it? Is it those 10 plus noms some people were saying at the beginning of the stream, or is it closer down to like the 4 to 6 type range? Ooh, I like whatever this is saying. Minions have actually appeared at the Oscars. They announced Best Animated Show in 2016. See, they should have got to do animated feature. Make Woody and Buzz. They don't even like each other. Make them go over to another category. You let the Minions present the big one. Banjo saying he has the clues. The movie is Lucky Lost. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Like I said, Matt's going to be there. He'll let us know. What do you think about Jack of Spades? It's something I want to believe in. I guess I'll come down to wherever it is here. Jack of Spades. Boom. It's something I want to believe in. It's just to what I said at the beginning of the stream is like, do you want to play the distribution guessing game? I don't really want to. So like I want to put it in, but then it's like, who's going to buy it? If A24 wanted it, why don't they have it already? They had his last movie. They probably could have had dibs here. They chose not to buy it. Apple, they also had his last movie. They chose not to buy it. He's worked with Netflix before in the past. Why don't they have it? And the only thing I can think of for Netflix, at least, is like, oh, then it couldn't go to Cannes because of their real weird rules. So, like, I'm holding out some hope there, but I don't know. Like, if it is a real thing, obviously it's picture, maybe director, maybe screenplay. Then we look over into some acting and some text because it is a period movie. So there's a lot of potential there. It's just how much do you want to, believe in it? I have Hoppers, Wildwood, Toy Story 5, Shaun the Sheep, and probably Goats. Yeah, I would say probably not Goat, and that's where you would come to find that international slot for your fifth one. But I think at the time, Goat works. I guess coming down the line here, Iron Boy, continue the last two asterisks. Thinks Toy Story 5 is gonna be better than people think it is. I agree. I mean, I think Toy Story 4 is really good, and the consensus says it was good. It was just a very vocal minority, I would say, that didn't think it was great. BAFTA nominated Amelie over Arco for animated, and Arco over Amelie for children's film. They can even pick. Yeah, PGA didn't do either. I guess, yeah. So, Brad, if you're still listening, if you want to follow that link I sent you before, I'll get you in here, and we'll move into the next thing that we're gonna do here. Once I see you join, I'll throw you in here, and we can move from awards, expert predictions over to the Cal Sheet predictions to see where the money's at for everything right now. But let me keep following some of these comments here while we wait for Brad. Let's see. Lucky Lost will debut at Cannes. That's also contender for animated. Same studio as Little Amelie. Then that's a great shout to possibly throw here. Let's see where it's at on here. You might have yourself a high value pick that you could get behind. It's down here at 23. So that is one that we should definitely keep an eye on, especially if it's from the same studio as Amelie. But yeah, I'm also not on the Goat train. I do like Goat, but do I buy it? Maybe not. So I guess here, let me throw up this other banner real quick. Let's see what category we want to do here real quick while we wait for Brad. Let me just message him to get him in here real quick. So what do we have here? Oh, it looks like he is here. So boom, let's get him in here. Let's go over to Toolbox. See, we're learning how to use this thing on the fly. All right. With Leo,
what's up? What's up?
All right, let's see. Chat, can y'all hear Brad okay? We'll see if they flow in. So what I'm gonna do real quick is here, Brad, just introduce yourself, tell you why we should believe you here with the Kalshi odds real quick. I'm gonna grab my earbuds so I can listen to you without your vocals coming out over my.
Okay. My name is Brad. I am a member of the Filmball Discord. I'm arguably the most enthused member about all things betting. I've been in a past life a sports gambler. It's my side income, but I love Oscars and love movies, and I've been really locked in on the early stages of Oscar betting this season.
Well, that's what we love to hear.
Thank you, Banjo, by the way.
Enthused better. That is a great term here. All right. Let's see how this works. Boom. There we go. We can look at these early nominations for Best Picture. Brad, I'm just reading some of these comments here. They're trying to fry you, but I believe in you. I believe in you.
Good.
And picture, where do you want to start with? Do you want to start at the top here?
It's not on the screen, but I have on my screen like a little list for myself. So it does start at the top. So obviously we start off with the Odyssey. Like I personally I'm not as high on it as everyone else is. Like, oh, like it's 100% in Best Picture. But also like who wants to bet against Nolan after Oppenheimer? Like not me personally. So my standpoint is like I'm staying away from it unless like it keeps climbing higher because 89% is pretty high. As far as odds go, that means if you bet against it, you like 10x your money. So I've been feeling like the Odyssey might be a little bit overrated. Although I think,
as you can see right here, though 25, if you really believe the Odyssey's flopping, it's a quick $200.
Well, when you think about the Odyssey, I think you got to think about what's the Metacritic that you see and you're like, wow, that's not getting in, or not like it's not getting in, but like, wow, that could totally miss. Like, I feel like that's like a 75 to like a low 70. That like opens up like a real possibility of it missing. And so I think like once the reviews start to come out, if you see things around there, that's when you take action to the contrary.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing right now and this goes to the whole thing of we don't talk sports here, but you do have to come in with like a sporting mindset when you're looking at prediction basis. And I think I get why some people think sports betting or betting is dumb or isn't cool or whatnot. But I think especially that's what we're doing with the Oscars anyway. We're just doing it without money. Here, if you're really confident in your stances, if you feel great, like let's go online here. Like Wild Horse 9, as you can see, I got that at 45 cents for picture. It's all the way up to 67 cents right now. So that's a good investment for when it eventually probably gets its Best Picture nomination. Or if you feel really good of where is that? The Cry to Heaven. You want Cry to Heaven? It is. I feel like I keep missing
like 20.
it.
I think it's like 25.
Yeah. 29 cents right now. So if you're a big believer of Cry to Heaven, you think it could get just the nomination, not even the win. Boom. If you want to get the win for it, because I know there's people who are saying Cry to Heaven could win picture. Let's see what your return would be right there. Cry to Heaven all the way down here. 25 would get you nearly $470. So clearly,
although I don't want to advertise Cry for Heaven for picture.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Okay, it looks like the chat wants to talk about Narnia. I'd love to talk about Narnia.
Let's go a Narnia up here.
Super high on Narnia comparatively to Kalshi. I don't get it, actually, why it's so low. It feels like... All right, so I am not the biggest Barbie fan in the world. Like, I thought Barbie was, like, funny, but I did not get, like, all the hype. But Greta just gets things done, man. It's exactly what people were talking about with GDT last year. Like, he could get Nightmare Alley in, he can get Frankenstein in, even when the initial critical reception is like, it's good. So I feel like how bad, especially because you see Netflix loves playing the Oscar game, and they're giving it some IMAX time. They don't do that. So it's like, how bad does Narnia need to be for it to not at least be, like, seriously contending? I feel like it had to be pretty bad.
And that's my thing too, is again, this is something that I would say was more of a part of Gold Derby than it is with Awards Expert right now. But Gold Derby, there was the whole thing of getting the stuff while they have good odds and then deciding, do you want to keep it later on down the line? Yeah. Narnia, like you said, it's 29 cents right now. You could buy some now, and then if it gets decent reviews and people are like, oh, wait, it actually could be top 10, then you could get rid of it later on down the line if you wanted to. Like, this isn't something like where you're like stuck with it, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, also last year, like I saw this Frankenstein as I was tracking it, It started off above where Narnia is now. Maybe started off at like 40. Got mixed reviews out of Venice, went pretty far down, and then people were like, wait a minute, like, this is Netflix's number one. House of Dynamite's pretty fake. And it slowly climbed all the way from like 25 to maybe 80, where it was for a while until it got in everywhere. And now I'm obviously talking about like festival prices pre Globes noms. So I don't know. I feel like Narnia has to, at the very least, have a similar trajectory. I mean, unless we're seeing Netflix buy several things. And I never want to predict like a studio to be buying things, because that's just when you get into like too difficult to predict exactly. But it just feels like if they have Narnia, they're showing they care about it, and the Academy's shown that they love Gerwig. Like, why would I not think that that's going to succeed? Or why would I not think that it has pretty good chance to succeed? That's all I'm saying. Jammed. So that's my Narnia thing.
Yeah, and I think even taking it away from the whole betting odds to it, but applying it here to our Oscar predictions, it's one of those things where like you can take the swing for it now, and then you can reap the rewards later on down the line. Or if you're wrong with the predictions and they do buy something like what some people out there may say Netflix can do, then it's like, oh, with now this new intel, now let me divert my predictions a little bit here. I guess pulling up a chat real quick here is we have Lanniston saying that House of Dynamite did premiere with an 87 Metacritic after Venice. So I guess what would your reply be towards if maybe not as much with Narnia, but let's go to another movie that people are really potentially high on that we don't know much intel about, like all of a sudden right now. It's at like 30 cents. There's people out there saying like, oh, this is Neon's number one push for the Oscars, not just international feature, but above the line as well. What would you say if that started off with a high Metacritic? Would you buy into that, or it's a film that you would kind of expect to get a high Metacritic, even if it's not an Oscar player?
I think a lot of the international contenders kind of end up in the same group for me, where it's really hard to back them early, at least from an odds perspective, because at least, I mean, I don't know about everybody else here, but I feel like it's just kind of hard for me to pick which ones are going to hit. Like, I could see Fjord hitting, but also, I don't know if it's going to be super, like, Academy core. I think people see Renata, and they're just like, oh, like, she's been getting nominations. They like Sebastian Stan. It's going to get in. I think we're being a little bit, like, sentimental value biased, like, where we saw these people succeed, and I don't know, people are just, like, pushing it to the automatic number one right now. I see no reason why that wouldn't be in the same tier as All of a Sudden in 1949 and these other strong international / can contenders. Because I guess you could also throw, like, presumably Jack of Spades into the same kind of mix. So I think that, like, while I would back, this more goes for Fjord, but, like, while I would back these things to potentially happen, it's very hard for me to pick one out as, like, this is going to happen. So I think that's very much like a gut pick. So if I see All of a Sudden premiered a really good, like, critic reviews, like, I mean, like you said, that's probably going to happen regardless. Like, I assume it's going to be a good movie. But if it doesn't, like, win or heavily contend for the Palm, like, is it really going to happen? I don't really know. I mean, you saw last year the international movies that thrived all really thrived in Cannes Awards.
Yeah, let me actually pull that up, because I remember we were talking about this the other day for the Palm last year. Is it going to pop up? Oh, there it is. I just saw it pop up. Because the Cannes last year, if people like, you can see it on the screen right here. What was this? Accident was down at 3.9% like a day or so before the award. Since the value was about 26, on the phone was at 22. Then you come to the morning of, and Accident's down at like 14. Since the value is at 44. Then like right before, if I can get it to stay, again, it's like 1837. Then boom, Accident jumps up once Sentiment Value wins its other awards. Like, it's something where like you can kind of expect it to happen. As you see, it has a high like jump point here, but as we get closer and closer, stuff can change on a dime like that. And that's the big thing with going forward, not just with like the betting side of it, but like with the Oscar predicting side of it, is these fests really do set the stage for what is to come. And just because something is expected to win doesn't always mean it's got to win that specific prize.
Yeah, I think that also kind of reminds me, and this is not about international stuff, but about TIFF, where it's like, me and everyone else, we were all predicting Rental Family because it's going to win TIFF. That is terrible process. Like, I'm so mad at myself for doing that. Like, you could predict Rental Family for a slew of reasons last season, but going to win TIFF is just, like, the worst of them. And so I think staying away from predicting things because they're going to win prizes, is bad process. And like you could say like, oh, I think this might win Cannes, but don't predict it because it's going to win the Palm, or like don't predict, I guess, whatever you think is going to win TIFF this year. Don't exclusively predict it because it's TIFF core and it'll thrive there and whatever. Going to the comments though, I see Jammed talking about All of a Sudden in Fatherland. I that's kind of what I'm echoing. Like, I think that they totally could happen, but like, it's not. I don't know. Again, there's a lot of unpredictability with the international films, more so than the domestic ones, just because there's guaranteed less spots for them in the Academy. So, like, again, last year, like, in my opinion, I really want to see them thriving at Cannes if they're going to go there. So, if it's not heavily contending for the Palm, I don't know. I mean, last year, obviously, the three international ones, they were all heavily contending. So, that's kind of what I'd like to see from 1949/Fatherland and All of a Sudden. And I see, obviously, Banjo talking about movie for Fatherland. I think if it's a good enough movie, I'm not scared. I mean, like, for me, it's just kind of down to the film. I think distributors, like, I don't want to say, like, a weak distributor is going to hold a film back unless we're talking about Sumerian pictures. I just think it's when you get to, like, 3 movies under one distro, like with Neon handling, like, 5 things last year, then it just gets ridiculous. And you saw that with Accident in Picture and No Other Choice in International. But I mean, I have no reason to believe that Mubi can't handle 1949 if it wins the Palm or if it's heavily contending for Cannes Awards.
Yeah, and I think going off to another comment here about Rental Family, a reason why I was so low in Rental Family all year was kind of what you were saying there is people were saying it has to win this, and this is why it's its path. And I get you can kind of turn that around and be like, well, you could say that for All of a Sudden or 1949 or whatever to win the Palm this year, for that has to be its path. But I don't think winning this award means you have this slot in Best Picture. It's like the other point of what you were saying there is you can win that award, but it amplifies what the film already has going for. Like last year with Rental Family, a reason people were predicting was saying, oh, it was from the creator of Beef, when Hikari had written like 2 episodes of Beef, not even the whole season. So like using that as your reason to push it, and like, oh, it's Brendan Fraser's comeback time around, and it's got buzzy test screenings, but like we saw none of that really came to fruition. And then now here with our international contenders this year is like, oh, all of a sudden it's from a former nominee. 1949 is from someone who got into director, has gotten multiple international feature noms, but has yet to get that Best Picture nom. Is that a great reason? I would say no. But then when you look into what that film is, it's a biopic. It's most likely going to have lots of tech and craft potential with it as well, being set during a war and having black and white cinematography and having actors that, or at least one actor who has a great case to why this will be their headlining performance among their 4 very shiny performances this year. Makes more sense to me as a projection, but I do agree that Mubi is someone that we have kind of questions about their ability, but I would say that's not a reason to be 100% out. I would say the reason to be out is if you think the content of the movie might not be something that people want to go for, or the director's already had his time to shine and it's not going to be this one again.
Yeah, I mean, I think over indexing on distributor this early is just kind of not worth it. Like, I mean, I saw Banjo saying like you need to really account for campaign strategy with these international films. And that's totally true because like they need to be seen. But at the same time, like if 1949 is like my kind of stance is like a good distributor can push a lukewarm reception like far. But if the movie's good, the movie's good. Like if 1949 just kills it, I'm not going to be like, well, it has Mubi. Like if that movie kills it, like it's just in. And I think what you've seen with like Cold War having success is that it's like it's very within reach for his type of content and his like filmography. And so that's what like speaks to me most about 1949. And also the fact that Mubi's like pushing it up, or not pushing it up, but like they're making sure that he rushes it for Cannes after the rumored internal screening. That really speaks to me too. When you get like really positive little tidbits like that. I mean, I obviously like you're looking for crumbs this early, so I think that at least is another reason that I'm pushing it up in my rankings. I think I have it at like 7.
I don't want to keep you here for too long because I know that you have some other stuff to get to today, but is there any other prospects? It doesn't even need to be picture. It can be another category that look good to you that you want to talk a little bit more about in terms of stuff that you either think people are really overselling or stuff that you think people are really undervaluing.
This is actually it's more picture stuff on Kalshi. If you want to scroll down to like the 20s range, we were talking about Narnia earlier, and two others that I think really go with that are Michael and Sense and Sensibility. And I know that you're really with me on both of those.
Yeah.
Um, I see no reason again why these are so low. You see Sense and Sensibility gets pushed back into the Focus post fest slot. You were talking about Hamnet earlier, but remember, Begonia is also like a perfect Focus example of people kind of had their doubts, but they knew what they had. Um, and I see the same thing with Sense and Sensibility, where they know what they have. They're putting it in a place to succeed. There was buzzy test screening. And again, that's like not the greatest thing in the world always to go off of. You saw with Rental Family, but I like the fact that they took action based on it. And I think it obviously has way less red flags than Rental Family ever had. And then also Michael, like you were saying earlier, it's just gonna get a couple noms. Like it'll just probably get makeup. It'll just probably get sound. People love Michael Jackson, and regardless of how like, I mean, like you, and I'm speaking to I guess everybody here as a predictor might feel about him. At the end of the day, he has his fans. The movie's cutting out all of the controversial stuff. People are just going to love and go and sing along to the hits. It's not going to be like Springsteen. It's going to be much more fun than that. And I think it could really. I see not no reason, but I see much more worlds or many more worlds where it succeeds than fails, is kind of my stance on Michael. And so I think both of those, really, along with the trio making it with Narnia, are all good buys down in the 20s. They're all in my best picture 10 as of now. So
Yeah, and I would agree with a lot of what you said there too. I think going back to Sense and Sensibility first is yes, test screenings may not always be a great thing to read, but what we do know is that it tested in less than a week later. They were like, hey, let's delay this from its September 11th date to be October 16th after TIFF, after Telluride, which to me reads as what you were saying there, a studio knowing like Begonia, like Hamnet, we believe in what we have. And unlike Rental Family, we know this filmmaker has film award success before. They're the director of Blue Jean, which got multiple BAFTA nominations. It won a lot of BAFTA Independent Film Awards. It's adapting a material that we know people do love, that people do appreciate. It's going to be a period film, so there is also tech potential as well with that film. I do agree that maybe having like top 3, top 5 in Best Picture may be a reach, but at this point of the season and with Focus's track record, I think, like you said, it's a good buy here in Kalshi, as well as being a great buy for your awards predictions over on Awards Expert. Like I said, I think it's, and you can see on a little counter down below, it's like 25 on Awards Expert right now. Get on the ship early. You have an open 10th slot. Might as well throw it in. And then for Michael as well, like, I get all the red flags are there. I get Fuqua is not an awards director, but I would say, like you said, unlike Springsteen, they're going to play the hits. Unlike Rocket Man, this is not going to be a quote, quote, flop at the box office. And I think there is an open path for this film to have some very big things to keep in the award season. Like you said, maybe Colman Domingo can be a possible supporting actor win. Jafar Jackson can be a pop-up for a fresh face in the lead actor category, as well as its almost guaranteed tech noms of like makeup and potentially sound and costumes.
yeah, I think those are definitely my big three right now that I'm keeping an eye out for. And then on the other side, a couple things I think might be a little bit overrated. I don't know. I mean, Parallel Tales. I saw someone mention that before. Just feels like uh, international and like a little bit lower for me. So I think it's definitely below that tier of All of a Sudden, Fjord, and 1949. I think Disclosure Day is super fake. I know Banjo's going to come from my head, but I see no reason why that should be as high as it is. Again, just
Yeah,
something that I think it could happen, but I just think it being at 42 just feels like a lot of upward pressure. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I think Cliff Booth, kind of the same picture. So there's a lot to chew on here. I think the Josephine debate is also worth having, but I think for me at least, that's like a wait and see. Because that's got to come out, and I want to see the public reception because I saw it. And I didn't like. I still have no clue what it's gonna do, because I think I just need to see how the wider audiences are gonna handle that. But yeah, those are like my. I think that Michael, Narnia, Sensibility. Those are the big ones that stand out to me.
well, also thank you so much for giving me all of your insights and expertise here. Because this is the thing with, like I said at the beginning, I think some people may look at the betting side of it a little weird, a little different, but that's essentially what we all are doing with our awards experts or our gold derbies or our personal predictions, whether in our Discord server or in Reddit forums or whatever. Is you're making bold predictions just here. You're taking a definitive stamp where if you are right with something, you can reap the benefits and rewards tenfold. So like, I definitely think it's something, and it's something cool also to track to see where is the consensus. Like, Odyssey's at 89% in picture right now. That's crazy. Dune's in 72% in picture. Like, there's a very valid chance where Dune Part 3 doesn't get nominated for Best Picture. So if you are one of those people who feel so strong about it, put $25 on it. Make a few $100. Go use that money to go see Dune and IMAX 70mm and pay for the big boy tickets.
Yeah. Shout out Banjo. Disclosure day. I'd love to have an informal bet with you with some pride on if Disclosure Day gets in. It's not happening, man. But you got it. You got it. You can draft it in Filmball. That's what can happen.
That's what can happen. We'll make sure you're all in the same league and see how early. I guess we would have seen it by then, so it may not be as fun.
This is
but
true.
who knows,
it might already be dead by then. Or sorry, it will already be dead by then. But
who knows? Maybe we can do a little in an upcoming stream. We can get a few people together and do a little super early pre-can little film ball mock draft. But yeah, Brad, thank you so much for hopping on here, talking with me a little bit today. Have a great rest of your day.
Of course, thank you for having me.
All right, bye. But yeah, so I guess let's regroup here. We just hit the 2-hour mark. This is about where I wanted to end. But I do want to just answer any final questions here that people may have. So let me drop up our favorite little banner up here. If anyone has any questions, you can knock a few of these out real quick before we finish up for the day. But again, as I said in our intro, I just want to say shout out to everyone who has been here, who has been along for the ride all day long. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing these. I hope to continue to do these maybe once every week. I know it will get a little crazy starting up here soon, and we have our Best Picture predictions next week. So I might focus more so on editing those than doing one of these. But we can figure it out. And I see, here we go. The man's in here. Mercy sweep. William Ratcliffe is in the chat here for World of Worlds. Yeah, Mercy. It could be a huge Oscar player. I think it has tech appeal. It's got an amazing Chris Pratt lead performance. I mean, if they did mocap visual effects work, those could get recognized. We could see Rebecca Ferguson get in for her AI performance. Great stuff in there. But yeah, I'm doing good today. Banjo, like I said on the end show here, I wanted to go to the Phillies game yesterday. As you know, as someone who lives somewhat close up here in the Philadelphia range, it was pretty cold yesterday. It feels like 35. Not good baseball weather. But the biggest lock nomination in a category this far out, I would probably say, is visual effects, like we talked about before with Dune and Project Hail Mary. We know how they're going to look. We know Project Hail Mary has visual effects. Rocky, even if it is partly practical, I think will be a case for some people to vote for it in visual effects. And Dune, we had 2 other Dune movies. We know this one looks good as well. I would say those 2 and probably Hoppers and Animated are the 3 I feel the best at this moment so far. The Bride will upset Mercy. No. Actually, maybe if we're talking Razzies, I think Mercy is something like they may not care about, but The Bride is. But for the Film Ball Orb Awards next year, Mercy's got it over The Bride. I think The Bride, no one will care about it. Here we go. I like this one. Wicked for Good, sweet from Marco. Marcos, yeah. That is an L from last year. I'm glad to hold. Like I said a little bit earlier in this chat, I had an opportunity to back off of the Wicked for Good glazing and predictions when I rewatched for my birthday last August, right before our Film Ball draft or right before award season really kicked off. And I was like, this play is so bad. I really don't like the second act. There's nothing here. Jonathan Bailey does not have more to do. There's no choreography. These songs aren't as good. But I was like, no, I felt that way about the first half, and they fixed it. I still like For Good, but they didn't fix it as much as they did for Wicked. And 0 nominations is still crazy. But I do agree, Brad. I think Hoppers is locked. That is one for Kalshi. I wish it was one there because if it was at 50, I would easily take the double your money, All right, Cap's asking the important questions here for awards. Are you more scared of drowning or heights? I I like to swim. I don't swim as much as I used to. I was never like a swimmer, like for like sports or anything, but I would go to the gym when I was like a kid in middle school and high school and college and swim at least 3 times a week. So I feel pretty good about my ability to not drown unless I'm like, like yeeted off of a boat. But heights is something that I've been pretty high before. Like in a plane, I'm good, but like in like a roller coaster, I'm good. Like if you get me like in like Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, if you put me on top of the CN Tower, I'm going to be scared shitless, Here we go. Are we slamming yes? Yeah, let's slam yes. I don't have it, but y'all got it. I'm keeping my stuff, and the other ones, like I said, I had some bad F1 bets last night. I got bad beat with Piastri. Man was winning the whole race. Went from third to first on the first lap. Had like a 4-second gap to the lead. Goes in the pit, has a great pit stop, shaves some time off to get even more ahead of the Mercedes, and then a wreck happens, and Antonelli gets the pit on the safety car, and that would have been a great bet, but that's where some of my Kalshi money went. Maybe I should have just put on some sensibility and had my free money. John Williams is the most locked nom. Probably is. That was a bet on Kalshi. If you want to make some money, I think when it opened, he was down at like 25, 30 cents. I think Brad got some of that. Disclosure day is locked for score. Probably because yes, John Williams is a cheat code. Jam has him winning the category. Let's see. What about the new Scorsese movie? I don't think it'll be ready for this year, but for next year, I mean, it's Marty. It's one of those things that we're gonna have to talk about, and I think that what we've seen with these big name filmmakers is when they come back around, they make an Academy friendly movie, they can survive. They can get those nominations, and I think as long as it's not delayed endlessly like some of Marty's movies are, I think it'll be good. We got dream current actor director pairing. That's a great question. Honestly, I don't know if I have a specific actor, but I would love to see more people do like little cameo performances in Yorgos movies. I think Poor Things is a great example of just like people popping in for like a scene or two and just really, really, really doing a great job. I'm trying to think of a better one or a fun one. I guess let me come down here to like my personal favorites from like a past year and see. Oh, it's Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix is who I would want in a Yorgos movie. We talked about this in our Discord a few weeks ago. I think he would just chew up, and he could do something crazy like Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, or he could be just like a supreme jerk like Olivia Colman in The Favorite, and he could just do an amazing job in a Yorgos film. So I would say Joaquin Phoenix. Let's see. We had some talk about our film ball drafts. Those were really fun. Frankenstein was a value pick last year. We got jammed here saying first time caller, long time listener. Wondering if you're confident in our bet of Anya versus Zendaya. Yeah. So for people out there who don't know, in our chat we were at like 40 some right now. We're down to 12. So this is the sign for me to probably wrap it up here. But Jammed and I had a bet we made when we first met each other a few years ago of who will get their Oscar. I don't think it was nomination. I think it was win. Who will get their Oscar win first between Anya Taylor-Joy and Zendaya? I still feel pretty good about it. I feel like Zendaya has been in more Oscar relative films, even if she hasn't broken through for a nomination for herself. I think the Ronnie Spector biopic may not be a win, but could at least get her a nomination, and that's a point on the board. And that's what matters most in this, because I could use the cheat code of like, oh, Zendaya will maybe could get like a producer win or something, but that doesn't count. We're talking about strictly acting performances here. I do think there's a good chance that neither of us will ever win that bet, and we're gonna be tied pretty good. The new Scorsese has Shutter Island vibes. It could. I do think that Marty is a guy who his film's just going to be in the conversation each and every time around, kind of like how we're talking about with Spielberg with Disclosure Day, and we'll talk about Nolan whenever he does his next movie that's not the Odyssey. Like, these are just guys who are going to stay in the Oscar convo, and the real question is, do they connect? Is it another Killers that gets him 10 plus noms, or is it going to be like Shutter Island that isn't a thing at large? Zendaya and Tom Hooper, I guess, yeah, Tom Hooper can do. He did Les Mis. He did Cats. Let's give him. We can give him Jesus Christ. No, I don't want to see him do Jesus Christ Superstar. I want Baz to do that. We can give him some Broadway show, and she can do the female lead, and that can be her Oscar win. And Tom Hooper got Anne Hathaway an Oscar win, got Vikander, I think she won for Danish Girl, got her an Oscar win. Idris Elba should have won for Cats, so he's really good at getting those Oscar wins. Ke Huy Quan and a Josh Safdie film, that would be a cool pairing, honestly. I think, especially depending on what role he has, he could really be like hilarious, because I think that's the thing that Safdie does better than anything else in his movies, is find people for roles that you want to expect them, and they somehow give like their best performance that we've seen from them, and a very funny, I would say their best humor type performance. Like, I may prefer some other Timmy performances, but I've never seen him funnier than he is in Marty Supreme. Anya Taylor-Joy, Sean Levy. Yeah, Jan would love that pairing. I'm gonna skip some more of these Anya ones in here. They're having some fun down in the chat. Okay, I think that might be wraps here. We hit the 2 hour mark. That was the goal I wanted for today. I guess the final thing I'll do before we wrap up is let me just cut this thing at the bottom and let's restart it. We'll wrap up by just looking at the current awards expert top 25, just because I forgot to mention it earlier. Odyssey is number one. It stays one. And the top bit a little bit doesn't really adjust. All those movies are really staying in the same spot as they were a week ago, but we see Disclosure Day, Social Reckoning go up a spot and Disclosure Day go down a spot. So Sorkin heads are showing out, and maybe some people are joining us on the anti Spielberg thing. Then we come down to Cry to Heaven moves up a spot. Narnia moves down and resolves, and same thing with the entertainment system is down. And that's the fun thing with what I hope to do with these streams going forward, is it can be a fun thing just to, like we did today, just hang out, chat, yap, talk, and see these awards expert changes from week to week, because that's something I think that kind of goes unnoticed, is the slight changes. Like, as we see here, 1949 goes up like 3 spots from the last time we talked. Jack of Spades and Werewolf moved down. Ink pops up here into the top 20 where it wasn't before, and Boosters and Saturn Returns are on its way down. And then Behemoth, Being Human, and Sense and Sensibility move up to the top 25. I can assume Being Human, because it was largely predicted by the twins, is a reason for why it popped up. Maybe egotistically, Sense and Sensibility, the 800 people who says YouTube watched the stream last week, maybe I convinced them to move it up from, I think its average place the week before was like 40 to 25. But that probably wasn't the case. But yeah, that's going to be all for today. I just want to say, all of you out there, a massive shout out for being here. Whether you're here live, you're coming in here watching after the fact. It means so much to me that you just want to hang out, talk awards. I love the talk awards, and I really appreciate all of you being here. But until next time, my name's Dyl. This has been Fantasy Filmball. Peace. Boom.